Right, folks, welcome to episode 49, and this week we've got Steve Abel from A Bike Thing. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How you doing?
Oh, awesome, thank you. Awesome. Folks, there is a bit of an echo, and we're doing this over a Zoom call because we're still in COVID restrictions, unfortunately. So there's a slight delay and a bit of an echo there, so I do apologise if the sound isn't top-notch. But I'm hoping soon we'll be able to start doing these in person. Hopefully, we shall see. So, Steve, that looks a very swanky setup you have behind you. It's a lovely little GSA, fully kitted out.
Especially set up for you. This is just for you. I literally put an hour aside to bring the bike out of the barn, around the house, bring it in the side doors, around the back.
Brilliant. Yeah. Brilliant. What's that you're drinking? You just had a little slug. What's that?
Water.
Water? Are you a teetotal?
Yeah. No, absolutely not.
All right. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Sorry.
I am going. I have a bottle of Bomber, Lancaster Bomber I have, so I'm going to crack that open.
I'm not an ale. I'm assuming that's ale, isn't it?
It is an ale. I'm not normally an ale chap.
I'm not either. I'm afraid I'm on the typical Corona. Sorry.
No worries. And I've no idea if you're a royalist or not, but to your Royal Highness, rest in peace, sir.
Yeah.
Right, so, Steve, A Bike Thing. To anybody who is not aware of you or your channel, what are you? What you do? What's it all about?
All about? So, A Bike Thing. So, okay, what's the how do you want me to do this? Do you want me to look at you, or do you want me to like address your clan? It's a clan, isn't it? Yeah?
Well, the clan is all the Patreon lot, but I suppose we could call the whole community the clan. If you want to address the people, then look at your webcam, or otherwise, have you got two cameras going there? How's this all set up?
No, just the one. So I've got it all on my mirrorless up here, and then I've got my Mac down here, which you're on. So I thought I'd plug it in to try and get a nice camera in. All especially for you. Never done this sort of thing before. Cool.
Neither have I just wing it. Don't worry. Looks very good. I'm very impressed.
I didn't even plan on you asking me that question, so I've got nothing prepared. But
seriously,
so it's all good. Absolutely. I literally wing it. So A Bike Thing. I set the company up about 2 years ago on the back of another company called Fancy Bike Thing, which is still going strong. It's just Fancy Bike Thing was focused around the R90s, and I made a little rear light for an R90 motorbike. But my passion really is adventure bikes. So, and I wanted to go down that route. So I thought I'd split it completely and have two complete separate limited companies. But it was kind of like a hobby. And I've always been an entrepreneur. I've never been employed by anyone in my life. So I don't know what it's like to have an employer. So right from the age of 16, 17, I had my very first business. But I had a business which I set up in 2005, which was probably my 10th or 11th company, which really scaled. It went very well for me. And I sold that in 2015. So I was basically twiddling my thumbs, going on road trips. I was getting a bit bored. I hadn't even turned 40 yet. So, and it was a case of my mate and we saw these Denali D4s. And it was like, I can't believe how have we come this far without these bikes? How have we got by without these lights on our bike? And so there he is, literally about to hit buy now from, I don't know who, but probably Nippy Norms or someone. I can't remember. But he's about to hit buy now. And I said, no, stop. Wait. Let me call Denali in America and have a chat with him. And I said to him, look, I'm looking to jump into a new business. I'm going to set up another company. I'm happy to buy inventory. I really want to be the go-to guy, not just in the UK, but in Europe. And kind of like spun off from there. Now, they couldn't deal with me directly. I'm probably giving you a very long-winded answer here.
That's all right. Don't worry.
They couldn't deal with me directly because they had already signed contracts with R&G. A lot of people don't realize R&G are the sole distributor in the UK for Denali. You didn't know that either.
No.
Yeah. So I then was introduced to R&G, and I was like, well, I've already been buying like hundreds of pounds worth of gear from R&G over the years, probably thousands, from my sports bikes when I was riding my S1000s and stuff like that. So it was nice to be introduced to all the guys at R&G, and before you knew it, I was buying absolutely loads and loads of Denali stuff. So set the website up and just evolved it. But I did have, and I still have this whole thing where I don't want to get too big. So I actually don't want to scale up because I've been there before. I used to have 30 staff. It was a nightmare. Very, very stressful. Are we okay? Your internet connection is unstable. We good?
Yeah, yours is very jittery here, but I can hear you.
It's coming through. Right. Okay. Yeah. So, when I sold that company, I thought, never again. I don't want to go there. But I'm at this stage now where I can't do it all. I've got probably 2 dozen to 60 emails a day coming in for genuine sales inquiries. People want a response within 24 hours. Otherwise, they buy elsewhere, or they're emailing you saying, "Are you going out of business? You know, are you on holiday or something?" And then you're trying to do work on bikes as well, and you want to ride your bike. Like this baby here has only done 100 miles, and I've had it since January. I haven't had a chance to ride it properly, but I've been out on it once. But I was out yesterday in the woods having a bit of a razz on it. So that was fun. Yeah. So
it is crazy, isn't it? When your passion becomes your livelihood, you sort of lose the ability to actually spend time doing your passion, don't you? It's like, I've never ridden so little. Now that I've gone full time doing this, I don't ride anywhere near like I used to ride.
Oh, it's a shame, isn't it? I love riding. I really, really do. And I've still got both my bikes. I've still got my old R1200 as well. And I'm struggling to let that go because every time I look at it, well, you know what it's like to have a connection with a bike. I'm really connected to it. So, I'm just not riding them. It's a shame, really. But so I need to get a member of staff in, someone who can learn all of the mail order side, because the mail order has just taken off. It's gone crazy. So I'm only taking in one bike. So to obviously answer your question from earlier, I'm taking on, I have customers' bikes coming to me. Mm-hmm. I don't even advertise it, but there's enough people who say, right, I can see you on YouTube. If I bring my bike to you, can you sort it out? And because I get that, I've got a 2-month waiting list of bikes. But when I say 2-month waiting list, I only take one bike on a week. So I won't take 3 or 4 in a week because I'll kill myself. Just burn myself out. So, but I love working on the bikes as well. So it's because you can play around and do really good jobs of installations. But by the way, just to address what you did a video a while back, and you're saying, I bet Steve Abel's screaming at his screen.
Was that my wiring?
Not at all. No, not at all. Because it's all about what you're comfortable with, and at the end of the day, the way you did it, it's absolutely fine. It's depending on how much perfectionist you are and how you know. Yeah. Whereas, so when a bike comes in, I don't charge by the hour. It's all like, price is the price. If it takes me 8 hours, and sometimes a 3-hour job will take me maybe 6 hours. Not in solid 6 hours. I have to spread it across the whole week because I just do a really perfect job really on the bike.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, folks, if you've not watched any of Steve's vids yet, I'll put a link down in the, if you're listening to the podcast, it'll be in the show notes there. If you're watching the vid, it'll be in the description. So I'll put a link to Steve's channel. You make stripping down a GS in particular an absolute piece of cake. Do you know what I mean? When you look at it, it's just like second nature for you. Well, yeah, but not to somebody like for me, I'd never taken a single cowling off of that GS. I came, the last time I stripped anything off a bike, it was a Gixxer. So coming to the GS, I was just like, what the hell do I do here? And that's how I found you, was just like, how do you remove the tank cowling? How do you remove the side cowling? All this sort of stuff. And that's how I found your vids initially. And they're really useful. If you need to do any work on your GS in particular, head across to Steve's channel and you'll see how to take everything off.
Literally, yeah. It's because I get people asking me that question, where did I learn? And I think they want to hear the answer they want to hear is, oh, I've got 10 years experience working with BMW. On the contrary, absolutely not.
Yeah.
It's literally, you probably don't want to hear it like this way, but it's trial and error, but on my own bikes. Mm-hmm. So, and when I first started actually fitting them, I had the customers sitting in the workshop with me. And I was fine with that because I'd already done. I've never worked on a bike that's not mine. Without the customer being there, that makes any sense. But yeah, I got you. To me, I know where all the screws are and everything. It's just you just got to take your time. And I've learned how the panels slide together. I've never broken one, so yeah, it's just documenting it as well.
Yeah, definitely, and that takes time, doesn't it? Like the filming. Oh man, I can pretty much install one of these in-of camera systems like in less than an hour now. It doesn't take any time at all. In fact, it probably takes half hour really just to get that thing fitted. But when you film it, like a 30-minute or 45-minute job all of a sudden becomes 4 to 6 hours, doesn't it? It's nuts. It does,
yeah. Yeah, and not everyone realizes the pain that we go through, actually, of filming. Oh, well. The filming's not so bad, it's the editing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what... Well, what I'm finding now is that I'm starting to actually plan my vids now. Like, I'll actually sit and I'll write a script out for them. It's hard when you're... Like, you can't do that on a touring vid or something where you're out on the bike all the time. But for a lot of my review-type vids, I'll script it. So I'll sit and I'll write, right, I need this shot, I want that shot. This is roughly what I'm going to talk about here. And when I do that, I found my editing's gone from 5 or 6 days to produce a video to, well, I can get one out in a day now. A matter of hours. If I've got like a story sheet to work from, it's a lot more straightforward.
I know what you mean there. If you can like wake up in the morning and you've already got that idea, you know what you want to be doing. And you can get it done and dusted and out there the same day or the following morning. It's great. It's when you are building content and you're videoing content over a 2, 3, 4 week period. Yeah. And then you come to the edit, you're thinking, I can't. You've got so much material to work with.
It's a nightmare, isn't it? What you do with this?
You can't remember. You're scrubbing through everything again. Whereas when it's fresh in your mind, you don't have to do the scrubbing, do you?
No, and you don't want to cut anything out.
No, you don't. But you have to, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to be ruthless. My videos used to be sort of my trip videos from like half hour to 45 minutes, sometimes even an hour. Best will in the world. 95% of the people out there aren't going to sit through that. So I try to keep mine sort of below 20 minutes if I can now, and. Yeah. You end up cutting so much stuff out, and for you've got that emotional contact to it, don't you? Because you remember how you felt, what you see, what you did. But other people won't even know it's gone, will they? They won't know it's not there. So keep the story. No, true. Story's king.
Yeah. My road trip videos are far too long, and I've still got so much content from my last trip in France that I need to edit this last few days. So. Yeah. So before I forget, I know there's a bit of a lag here. I had someone here yesterday who knew you.
Oh yeah.
Let's turn this around on you now. And he was telling me all about the stories you told him about when you've been to Vietnam, haven't you?
I wasn't Vietnam. No, I was in Laos. I didn't get into Vietnam.
All right. But he was telling me all about the time when you were very, very poorly and you were throwing up into your helmet.
Indonesia, yeah. Yeah, that was Indonesia.
Is this information that your subscribers already know about?
Oh, yeah, it's on video.
Right. Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, when I did the full house, I threw up and followed through the other end as well. Yeah, that wasn't a pleasant...
So I was hearing all about this over lunch yesterday. Nice.
Yeah, I'd actually contracted dengue fever as I was coming down through Indonesia, and just one day I'd been laid up for about 3 days, and eventually thought, right, I've got to go now because I've got to get the ferry to I think it was to Flores. There's like a 20 or 48-hour ferry, over the last few islands before you get to Timor.
Yeah.
So I was like, I've got to get this, otherwise it's like a week wait for the next one. So I was riding, felt terrible, thought, I'm going to be sick here. And as I stopped the bike, before I could get my lid off, I threw up, and literally at the same time it came out.
Oh, your helmet was on, was it? Your helmet was on your head?
Yeah. But I mean, there was nothing there because I'd spent 3 days throwing up, so I didn't really have anything left in my stomach. Good times. Thoroughly recommend it.
Yeah.
Who was that then?
Anyway, so that was Tom Boombox.
Ah, Tom Hyam.
Yeah.
Ah, cool. Yeah.
So
How's he doing?
All right? About he was on sorry, they sponsor you, don't they? Toro.
No, they don't sponsor.
Sorry.
I've been down there. No, it's all right. Lyndon's a good mate. Lyndon has Toro Adventure and Toro Trail down in southern Spain. So we were all down. That's when I met Tom. Yeah. Good lad.
Yeah. So I didn't know he was coming up. So it was a company called a PR company called ProShot in London, who have been contracted by Denali and R&G. So they were up here yesterday filming promotional videos, not for me, but actually for Denali. Okay. And so I just had to do like a few bits and bobs, and then they asked me to go riding through the woods. So I've got like a big wooded area in front of my property. So I asked the farmer permission, and they got like slow-mo footage of me riding the GSs through the woods. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. But he's pretty good with the camera. But he was telling me all about his time down in Spain, and he met you. He met Missenden Flyer.
Lamb Chops and Rich.
Yeah, that was it. Yes, yeah.
Shaft. Who else was Two Wheels and a Ponytail. She was there as well.
Yeah, he mentioned that as well. Yeah. So I've only just met Tom. So did he have long hair when you met him?
No, short.
All right. So he now looks like John Wick. So when he walked in, when he walked out, I thought, what the hell's going on here? We got John Wick, the cameraman, John Wick. He looks just like Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
He's got the widow's
love
peak, everything,
Yeah, he's a lovely fella, Tom. I've not heard from him in ages actually. So if you listen to this, Tom, how you doing?
He will be. Is this live, by the way?
No, not live. The podcast will go out next Wednesday, and the video goes out the following Monday. I've moved. I still get so many people asking me, where have all the podcast videos gone? Folks, I've moved all the podcast vids across to their own channel because sadly not that many people seem to like to sit through a video for 2 or 3 hours. So the podcast vids were really harming the main TeapotOne channel. So I've moved them across to their own channel now, TeapotOne Podcast Brewtime. There'll be links down below. So yeah, that'll come out a week Monday, that'll be out. It's always the Monday following the podcast, like the audio podcast when that comes out. So let's backtrack a little bit. What was your original business then? That big business that you had that you sold, what was that doing? Was that bike orientated?
No, not at all. I'll go back even further than that, actually. So let's start off when I actually was into bikes. Well, I wouldn't say I was into bikes. Do you remember those mini motos? Dangerous little things there, 25cc bikes. Yeah. So trying to imagine I'm in my 20s, and I'm really trying to scale a business up. I'm trying to be successful and all that, failing at every hurdle and stuff. And I was at a car boot sale, and I saw some blokes selling mini motos and people going crazy for it. I thought, probably not, I don't think I want to be selling these to my neighbours. I don't want to see these go up and down the road I live in and stuff like that. But I can see people really like them. And the internet was actually relatively new back then. It was relatively new. So I set a company up called Extreme Wheels, but spelt with an X rather than E at the beginning, Extreme Wheels. Okay. So it didn't go anywhere. So I set this company up, and I made my first website on Dreamweaver, Macromedia or something. Remember
I remember that. I used to use it.
And used to make websites out of tables and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So as I'm talking, I go off on tangents, so I'm so sorry.
No, don't worry about it. It's what this is all about.
it's when my brain just goes off in different directions all the time. But yeah, so and I set this website up, and these little motorbikes were I was selling them like hotcakes. But I managed to negotiate with the two suppliers in China, but they're based here in the UK, and I was getting them drop shipped, and I was paying £20. So this is going to lead on to the big business. Paying £25 to have them drop shipped, which I thought was great. I'd never really used a parcel courier in my life.
Yeah.
So I thought £20, that's fantastic. Goes anywhere. The customer's paying for the shipping anyway. I'm not having to handle anything. I'm running this online business, which was so cool, and I'm making some dough out of this as well. And then eventually came to a hurdle, and maybe it's a good message actually to give to some of your subscribers. I came up to this hurdle because whenever you get a hurdle in life, I've now learned hurdles actually are a sign of a better opportunity, because it makes you apply yourself. It makes you apply yourself to actually overcome that hurdle, and you find something new. Yeah. And you beat it. You think, oh, this is awesome. It's a bit like if you hear about people that they lose their jobs and they're like, oh my God, I lost my job. I'm redundant. Oh, life's awful. But if you apply yourself and you overcome it, you might end up in a better job on twice as much money or something. Yeah. At the time though, I've got this terrible news. Parcel Force. They turn around to me, the parcel courier, because I appreciate you probably got people from overseas who aren't aware of all the parcel courier. But the parcel company said to me, no, it wasn't the parcel company. It was the companies that I was buying from with drop shipping said, we can no longer do the drop shipping for you because there are a few problems with claims for damages and stuff like that, and we don't want to be processing those. So I'm thinking I've got to go direct to a parcel broker, to Parcel Force, and asked to have an account and arrange collections from these places. But then all of a sudden, I'm thinking, it's going to cost probably 50 quid to ship these. It's going to kill my margins. But I managed to negotiate £8 a parcel, whereas I was paying £20 a parcel. So I was thinking £8 a parcel, wicked. And you're probably thinking, I remember my wife at the time, I'm not with her anymore, but my wife at the time, she was thinking, you're squeezing an extra £12 profit there. I goes, no, that's not where my head's at. That's not where my head's at all, because this is based on me selling 20 items a week, shipping 20 items a week. And so I said to the sales manager, the account manager, I said to him, wait, if I can ship 50,000 parcels a year or 52,000 parcels a year, well, what's the rate you can give me then? And he goes, well, we can't do that. And I said, but because you're not doing that volume. Because, but what if I was? Let's just pretend. Yeah, I'm shipping 52,000 parcels a year. What can you do? And it came down to under a £5. And he goes, but I can't give you that rate. I go, no, I appreciate that. Okay. Well, what about if you put me on that rate though? Yeah. And then if I don't hit 52,000 parcels a year pro rata in the first 3 months, by the end of the third month, well, then you can put me back down. You can put the rate back up again. And he said, it won't flow. And so then I spoke to his boss. She said, no. Now you keep asking. Eventually, she said, his boss, she said, okay, we'll do it. So I had this rate of under a £5 to ship a parcel. So that's when I sold my Extreme Bills company. Didn't want to be faffed with that anymore. And I jumped onto my new business, which was a parcel shipping company. I'm not going to mention his name, but people will probably Google it and stuff, because I've sold it now and it's been trashed by the company who's bought it. But So I set up this parcel shipping company, and it's turned over $1 million in the first year, and then it just skyrocketed from there on. It's
wow! Oh my God!
So as soon as I had that idea and I had people coming to me, so a lot of people have heard of Parcels to Go. Now, I'd never mention their name on something like this. You probably heard of Parcels to Go. Yeah? Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. So my company was in the same arena as them. So we're probably like, I don't know, a third of the size of Parcels to Go the whole way along. That they went on. They're probably doing 100 million turnover now. So we never got quite as big as them. And they were actually one of the contenders that nearly bought me out. And then someone else came along and bought me out instead. But but I was the first guy who pioneered, and there might be people out thinking, he's full of full of shit. It's not true, but it's absolutely true. I pioneered the software which integrated with eBay and shipping systems. So when eBay was first around and people were selling on eBay, let's say had 20, 30 shipments to process a day. Is this you?
No, it's my wife.
But you'd be there copying and pasting shipping data, delivery address labels into a shipping system, and then printing labels. And each label would take maybe 5 minutes to make.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a case of, well, that data has already been punched into a website when you purchased it on eBay. Mm-hmm. Well, it should never be typed in ever again, as far as I'm concerned, because it's data. We just need to learn how to ping it from system to system. So I have programmers. I'm not a programmer, but I got programmers to write special pieces of software which pinged all the shipping data. So I could then go to a company and say, right, I've got shipping rates for you, which is cheaper than what you're paying direct. So you can come to me. I'll give you really good shipping rates. So your account's with me, and then we're going to give you this really cool software which is between your eBay account and our shipping system. So they'll come on. They've sold 100 items that day. Hit a button. All the labels get punched out. And FedEx, UPS, DHL, they still don't do this. They still don't do it.
They not?
So, and they should be. No, they don't. But then Parcel to Go, they followed my lead very, very quickly. Because they're a bigger, more, he's a very successful CEO, the guy of Parcel to Go. We know each other very well. He just basically knew how to run that better than me. So. But yeah, but we were still a significant company in that arena. There we go.
Wow. You sound a very astute businessman, Steve. Like you're like pardon the expression, but like a Del Boy trotter in that you see opportunities, and it sounds like you jump on them and act on them, and you make them happen.
I do. No, that's definitely me. I do jump on opportunities and just go for it. Yeah.
Good on you. Good. Yeah. The world needs people like that. Absolutely. Right. How about we crack on with some questions then? We've got quite a few questions over on Patreon and Instagram to get through. So you up for that? If we fire on?
I don't know why I haven't even checked them, because if they're on there, I could have gone there and read them, prepared for these. But go on.
You can access the Instagram ones, but unless you're a patron, I don't think you are. Okay. You don't need to be. But unless you're a patron, you can't access the Patreon sort of questions. I'll start with them. Patreon.com/TeapotOne. First one, Matt Jordan. I haven't pre-read these, by the way, so these will be as much of a shock to me as you. This one's for both of you. So, if money was no object and you could strip back and modify any bike and either make it into something unique or repurpose it entirely, what bike would you choose and what would you do to it? Ooh, bloody hell. Now, this is your territory, because I don't know anything about this.
Thing is, I'm really brand loyal, aren't I?
What, for the best bike in the world?
I am brand loyal, and for the record, I don't wear a flight vest, just in case. I have seen some comments in places about flight vests. I do not wear a flight vest. But I really would like a Ducati. So something like a Ducati Diavel. Am I saying that right? Yeah. So and I've got a friend who's a Ducati man. He's Ducati everything. He won't even ride anything unless it's a Ducati. He won't even jump on the BMW. So, and he lives over in Germany. I said, come over, I've got 2 bikes now. You have one of that? Because I'm not going to get on a Beamer, Steve. I'm not even going to get on it. Terrible. And the thing is, he doesn't work for Ducati. He actually works for Öhlins. He pronounces Öhlins. He works for Öhlins, and but he just has to have a bike with Öhlins on it,
It's not the BMWs then, is it?
No. But he did say when he saw this. I haven't seen him for about a year because of COVID and everything. But when he saw this, he did say that's pretty sexy for a Beamer. But
So what,
yeah,
what
to
would you
strip
do
a
to it?
bike back. Sorry,
Yeah, what would you do to the Abel then?
what I do to it? Do you know, I actually don't know how to answer that question. Don't know how to answer that question. Have you seen the picture on social media of the matching Diavel and the Lamborghini? Where you got the green. It's a green Diavel and the green Lamborghini. They're matching. I think they've only made 63 of them. It's got
Was that
like
the
a logo.
Lamborghini? Yeah, I remember it.
Yeah.
Like the dark sort of olive green colour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, the way I strip bikes back, I'm stripping them back. I'm not rebuilding them. I'm not a shed builder, because I've stripped back R90s as well, and I've done things with those too. And Olin's actually, back in 2017, it's because one of my best mates is he works for Olin's, but they used my R90 on the stand at Tobacco Dock Bike Shed show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And there was a little bit of controversy over it, because they're saying, well, that's not shed built. That's not built in a shed. It's not custom built. All you've done is strip it back, and you've bought bits off the shelf. And that's kind of what we do with this. I'm not scared of stripping it down, so I can get all the wires in the right place. It's a really neat job. And when you put your PDM system on there, and all the wires are routed nicely and professional, I'm not really changing anything, am I? Not really. I'm not. Like hats off.
It's still customizing the bike somewhat, though, isn't it? I know what you mean. It's not. Yeah, it's definitely not a custom built bike, but you are modifying it slightly, aren't you? I'm sort of like you. I don't have the technical knowledge to know how to strip the bike back and custom build bits. And to be honest, I just, like the Jigsaw's a prime example. I wanted to do. I'll mention it. How long are we into the podcast? 35 minutes. That's not bad. 35 minutes. To do my trip, I wanted to do it on a Jigsaw, but I was not prepared to modify that Jigsaw at all. I didn't modify the bars, didn't modify the seat, nothing. I just took it as is, and I kind of like that. Like with the GS, I'll take the GS on the track, because part of the reason is because people don't expect it. People don't expect the GS to be on the track. They don't expect it to handle the way it does. And I just quite like that. So I quite like taking inappropriate bikes to inappropriate places. I quite enjoy that side of things. So I don't really know. I can't really answer that question, Matt, because I can't. There's nothing in my head that I've thought, I'd love to do this to that bike and that to this bike.
No, actually, no, I can answer the question now. I can answer it. Okay, so it would be an R100, an old 1980s R100. That's what it would be. Right. Just to do, and I know that they don't really go up in value or anything like that, but I'd love to get an old R80 or an R100 and strip it back. And I know loads of people who actually do it. My own customers who've got GSs, and I've got a guy up north who actually bought his GS to me to strip it back and fit all the Denali stuff on, dash cams and everything. And he was a bike customizer, and but so I want once my barn is fully renovated, everyone around here is dragging their heels. All the contractors and the architects and the planners, and it's just I was hoping to get started on all the barn conversion here, but once that is done, then I would definitely throw a few grand at some old 1980s R100 and strip it down, but do it myself. I want to learn how to do it myself, sandblast the engine and everything. But that all takes time, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does. And when you're, it sounds like you're growing yet another very successful business there, and that all takes time, doesn't it? That takes a lot of dedication.
But I think I touched on it earlier that my last business had 30 staff. This business, I don't have anybody. I'm now looking for another member of staff. I don't really want to take on staff, but I need to. Yeah. And by taking on someone now, it means I've got to have someone working from within my home. So I need to be able to find someone I can trust who's going to be coming into my house every day to run the mail order. Because right now I'm thinking to myself, well, if we're permitted to go on road trips this year, I can't go. I've just come back to a mess of back orders, and you can't close shop, can you?
No, not at all.
You've got to keep going. So I need to have someone here running it for me, so I can start working on other things. Because I'm hoping to open up a ceramic coating workshop as well.
Right.
So that'll be something I'm doing down the far end of the barn. I kind of qualified with a company called Ceramic Pro last year. You probably might have seen pictures I posted where
I have. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know you know ceramic coating. You've got he's a personal mate of yours, isn't he? And it's all good, all ceramic coating. But this is like deep ceramic coating. This is me and the guys at the local ceramic coating place 20 miles down the road working together. So a bike comes in, I would then call them and say, right, can I book one of your guys to come down, even though I can do it myself? And the guy strips the bike down, wheels off everything, and we get right into nooks and crannies. So it's a lot more expensive. So we get into all those bits that still rust, but you can't see them. So it's.
Gotcha. I'll plug my mate's thing as well. Then my mate Pete has Super Shield Automotive, and as soon as you mentioned ceramics, I was like, well, I wonder if you've got a supplier, because I'll know you'll say your guy's the best. I know my guy's the best. But if you want, it's up to you. It's up to you. But yeah, Pete does a similar job to you. He properly gets in there. He doesn't take the bike apart though. So fair play to you for that. I know you have some other plans for the barn and everything there, and we can certainly get into that and cover that later on. But shall we crack on and get another question answered? Because I've done this before where we spent like an hour and a half answering the first question, and then all of a sudden it's a sprint to try and get through the last lot. Right, cheers for that one, Matt. The next one is from Ashley Wright. Hi, mates. A question to both of you. What do you think the next big thing in motorcycling is going to be? Ooh, good question. The next big thing. I think electric. I think electric is going to be big in biking, but I don't think it's yet. People aren't ready to embrace that yet, but I think within the next 5 years, I think we could see a considerable shift towards electric, but not yet. I don't think. There's a lot of cynicism, understandably in some cases. It's by no means as practical as petrol yet. So we'll see. Yeah. What do you think? Next big thing in biking?
I think sidecars are going to become a trend.
Do you?
No.
I'm frantically going through my brain thinking, really? Why?
I feel like I missed the boat on the April Fools.
Oh, right. Yeah, you have a bit.
Yeah. Did you see the Lone Rider one?
Oh, with the roof.
Oh, wicked.
They had that going for 3 days. They were posting about it for 3 days on social media, and I was like, oh, please tell me this is a practical joke. It's got to be.
Of course it is, yeah. Well, the YouTube video of the guy, the seriousness on his face, it was perfect. That was so good how he kept that serious face. Trying to convince you that we've tested this up to over 100 miles an hour and it's not going to blow off.
Yeah. I wonder, somebody must have made inquiries. Like, can I get one? I bet you somebody did. Somebody who wears a polite vest and has a beard, I bet you made an inquiry. Well, they've always got beards, haven't they? Always.
I don't know. I've never seen their faces. I've only seen the helmets. I
mean, on my tours, on my chicken strip tours, we have the vest of shame. So if every morning we have a kangaroo court, and everyone gets together and they decide who cocked up the previous day. So it could be for anything. You might have made a blatant screw up the day before, like got a puncture, left your wallet, forgot your passport. Could be something like that, or it could just be a case of, nobody did anything wrong and people just decide the following morning, right, you're having the vest today. So then you get allocated the vest of shame, which is it's a bright pink polite vest, and you have to wear it for the day.
You actually own one yourself that you put on people.
I specifically bought one for my trips. Yes, I've had to wear it. Every trip I'll always get given the vest of shame on one day at least. Yeah. But anyway.
Good idea.
Right, so if not sidecars, my mate Mart, the mad leprechaun, he'll be getting really excited because he's got a sidecar for I think it's for an old GS outfit that he has, but he has a sidecar and he's desperate. Yeah, and he's desperate to get me on it, and I'll tell you, Mart, I will be coming up, and we will go and do it definitely.
Good content as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a giggle, isn't it? I'll probably end up enjoying it because I never thought I'd enjoy a GS, and I'm 100% converted now. So, all right. Good. So if not sidecars, what do you think? Next big thing?
Oh, put it past that then. I really have no idea. I have no idea. Is what?
It's hard to know, isn't it? Because I kind of think to myself, well, we can't keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and more powerful engines because they're obscene as it is, but they keep bringing out bigger and bigger and more powerful 200 brake horse now it's not a matter of course, but there's certainly quite a few bikes out there that are knocking out 200 bhp.
It's a similar question. It's a similar question to when, because I used to have people come to me, and I used to actually go to universities like 10 years ago and do talks to well, they called themselves studentpreneurs. So they get me in because I had a pretty decent sized company, and I was willing to go around the country and talk at these places to try and inspire young entrepreneurs. And everyone gets stuck at the same milestone. Oh, I need to think of an idea. I need to think of an idea of the next best thing. And so maybe this is linked to what this question is here as well, because my answer to that would be, stop trying to think of the next best thing, because if you figure out what the next best thing is, have you got the millions of pounds worth of budget to market that, which no one knows anything about?
Right.
Or if you take something which already works, so what works well, then even better if, so what works well, even better if. So you're trying to think of, or you take something where we're always telling everyone to stop surrounding yourself with negativity, with negative people, which is a great thing. However, we all know those negative people we have in our lives, and sometimes we can't avoid them because sometimes they're people quite close to us, and we can't just say bugger off, don't want to laugh anymore. But if we listen to them, if we actually listen to them when they're moaning and they're whinging, and you find out what they're moaning about, well, you might find there's a solution in there somewhere. And so, is there anything on your bike? Is there anything that when you're out riding, you're thinking, if only this, if only that, and that's where I come up with my little ideas. So I could really do with this, but I think a lot of the manufacturers are already doing it. They've already got that mindset, so it's very flooded. But that's the kind of like that's where my entrepreneurial mind goes. That's how I come up with ideas. Yeah,
I've got one for you.
Yeah.
Backlit switchgear on the BMW. Why will BMW not backlight their switchgear?
I'm already working on it.
Are you? Seriously? Oh, man, I'll buy it. I mean, I hardly go out at night time, but when I do, I'm just like, why aren't these buttons bloody backlit? Like Triumph do it. I think Ducati even do it. KTM, I think, do it. Why? Excellent. Good. Watch this space.
Right. So I've been on this project for about 10 months, and it's falling flat on its face at the moment because of cost.
Right.
And because it has to be the same quality. So because to do it, you've got to basically, I don't want to give too much away because someone else on here will go off and do it, you see. Because there are people watching this who have got probably better contacts than I've got, you see. So, but, at the end of the day, if someone else brings it out, I'll probably end up contacting them saying, right, I want to buy hundreds from you. So it'll work out. But the quality's got to be the same as BMW's. So
absolutely.
And the way it works, that backlit switchgear, it's there's obviously where the logo is, it's currently painted on, where like the logo of the light and the indicators, it's currently painted on there. So you'd need that to be cut away. So it's like the translucent part. So it's very difficult. And so if someone was to make it, it would never be of the same kind of quality. I've actually spent a lot of money in the past, I shouldn't even admit to this, but trying to replicate certain BMW components, which I've never put to market. So I'm not actually breaking the law. Yeah, but I've actually tried to. They just don't come up to scratch. No. So I've spent, a few grand on certain plugs so I can bring plug and play products to market. And so I tried to replicate because when you look inside the back of a Tyco, which is the Tyco make the plugs for BMWs, when you look in the back of those plugs and they're all polarized. And if you were to take one of those plugs apart, you might find that there's it breaks into 4 or 5 pieces because you've got the pins with the little seals.
Yeah.
And then you've got the inner part of the plug, which is in 2 pieces. They clip together. Then that slides through the main outer plug, which we actually handle, with our fingers when we're unplugging things. There's a lot to those plugs, but buying them in bulk, so you can get them for pennies, but it's that initial development, and it's but then they're nowhere near the quality of what BMW produce. So,
gotcha. So, you don't need to answer this if you don't want, because I appreciate this could be quite contentious for you. But you hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, BMW, they haven't got the build quality that they used to have." Blah de blah de blah de blah. I'm trying to think to myself, have I actually personally experienced that yet? And I don't think I have. From 2016 onwards, I've had BMWs, and I can't think of a drop in quality that I've certainly noticed. Have you?
No, I think it's all better. So I've been. My first GS was, I've never had an air-cooled GS. I started on the GSs in 2014. Okay. But I was converted on an old, I think it was a 2008, 2009 GS. It's an old air-cooled, where my best mate, he's my best mate now, but I hadn't known him very long. And he offered me his bike to go to Ireland on. Actually, do you know, I don't talk about it as much. This is quite funny. Because I've gone from an S1000RR to an HP4 Carbon, and I met this guy on a track day. He's my best mate now, and he said, "Do you want to get a GS and come down the Alps with me?" Because we both discovered that we both had quite decent businesses where we didn't need to work every day, so we took a lot of time off. I was down in Silverstone every week, just tracking the bike. But and the same with him, really. That's how we met, and so we could take a lot of time off work, and we went to the Alps. And that's when I bought my liquid cooled bike. But I took his air cooled GS to Ireland. Right. And I said to my girlfriend at the time, she's now my wife, I said to her, "Come on, you can come on the back." She said, "No, I'm not coming on the back with you." She's joking. And that's mainly because when I first met her, she jumped on the back of an Aprilia Tuono with me. And it scared the hell out of her. So, but she said, "I don't mind going on the back of it when we're there." So I had a, can't remember. I had a Porsche. I think it's a Porsche Panamera type. So she drove my Porsche.
We live such different lives, Steve.
And I went on my mate's air-cooled GS. So we both went to Holyhead or on the ferry together. And then she nearly smashed my Porsche. It was only about 6 months old. She nearly smashed that as she came off the ferry. She just went straight across another car. I thought, "Oh my goodness!" I was following on the bike. Thinking, "Goodness me, let's just get across to was it Kilkenny or Killarney? Can't remember. But I just wanted to get to that west coast. And when we got there, then she was happy to get on the back of the bike, and we went round the Ring of Kerry and Dingle Peninsula. It's amazing down there. I want to go back there again. But
yeah, I'm trying.
But
I'm
whenever
dying
we
to
go
get
on
over.
road trips, Yeah, it's like Scotland. I did Scotland last year with my mates, and when I was there, I just wanted my wife with me. Like my wife, she's my best mate, and it's just like you know Scotland, yeah. So you know that route. It's incredible. And I said, look, we need to go to Scotland. I don't mind putting the bike in the back of a van, and we get out at the top. She just doesn't want to do all the motorway riding. She doesn't. She wants me to like keep it under 50 and just keep it relaxed. Which I don't mind doing if I've got her on the back with me and we're chatting. So
I tell you what, mate, I always used to just motorway it all the way up just to get up there. But there was one time I thought, right, I'm heading up. I'm not going to use the motorway. And apart from where I live in Kent, to get over the Dartford crossing, and then I came off the M25 at the first junction I possibly could, literally straight over the Thames, boom, took that junction, and I did back A and B roads the entire way up to Scotland. And I'm not kidding you, I was about 3 hours longer than if I'd been on the motorway. I think I did it in less than 12 hours. And that was stopping, taking some pictures. I had some fun along the way, but I wasn't being ridiculous. And it was a great ride. So now, if you know, as long as I can afford that extra couple of hours, I'll always take the back roads now. It's great fun. I use the Simon Weir's route. Do you know Simon Weir that did, where is it? These books. He's been on a podcast.
Yeah, I've got one of those.
Honestly,
yeah,
I did his route. I did his route up to Scotland, and it was awesome. Yeah, well worth trying. And I saw parts of the country I'd never seen.
Yeah, no, she won't stay on the back of the bike for longer than 90 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. But then, you know, when you go on the back roads, there's lots of places to stop. There's loads of like tourist spots, viewpoints, and all this sort of stuff. So, you know,
but if it rains as well, that's the other thing. If it rains,
you
know, it's.
Why would it rain?
Sorry? Yeah, why would it rain? Scotland.
In Scotland, it's not when. Sorry, it's not if, it's when. And if you're on the west coast, generally 2 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it's going to rain. It might only be for a couple of minutes, but it'll rain at some point. Yeah. Right, next question. Let's crack on with these. Mark Fulcher. Hi up me ducks. Question to you both. Whilst out and about filming for the channels, what's the funniest or dodgiest moment that you have ever been able to capture, and did it make the final cut? Shiny side up, lads, and all the very best. Ooh, funniest. I'd say one of the dodgiest I had was, well, if not the pheasant incident. I don't know if you've seen that. A pheasant. I went to overtake a guy in front. We're on a ride up in the Lake District, and came up behind another biker, and I literally, as I did my shoulder check, moved out and hit the gas to overtake him. He slammed on his brakes, and I collected the back of him, and it was because a pheasant ran out in the road up ahead of him. I was like, oh, jeez. So if was not that, no, that definitely was not funny, but dodgiest, yeah. Another dodgy one was my mate Amish on one of the Pico's tours. Again, I've got this on camera. He totally misjudged, just did not see a roundabout coming at the end of our particularly fast section of road. And he basically mounted this big, massive, overgrown roundabout straight into the big, tall grass and stayed on the bike. He didn't drop it. Nobody knows how he managed to stay on, but I've got that on camera. Funniest, I've not actually edited it yet. Again, a Pico's trip. One of my mates, Kit Kat, was emigrating, and we had an impromptu stag do on one of the evenings, and we dressed him up as a ghost. We borrowed a hotel bed sheet, cut some eyes in it, and dressed him up as a ghost. And we had some frivolities that night, but I haven't edited it because I'm not entirely sure I can. We'll leave it at that. What about you?
Well, it's funny because as you're saying all this, you're like spurring memories for me on bike trips as well. So I'm thinking, oh yeah, I forgot about that. So the ones, so if I go back to the one in Geneva, we'd just come back from Romania. So, and we're just doing a circuit of the Lake Geneva before heading back up to where the bike shuttle picks you up.
Yeah.
I think you don't know about bike shuttle or not, but
no, I've never done it. No.
All right, so as we like coming around the bottom of Lake Geneva, because the bottom of it is more interesting than the top half, because the road doesn't actually overlook the lake. So when you look on a map, you're thinking, oh, that looks lovely, but you don't see it at all. but on the bottom half of it, you do. Anyway, so as we're riding up, and don't forget, I'm the Denali man, and we've got sound bombs on the bikes.
Oh,
and I don't abuse my sound bomb. I use it when I need it. Whereas my mate, he just can't stop pressing. He can't stop pressing it. And to the point, on one trip, I actually pulled one of the plugs off underneath when he wasn't watching. But I've got him on intercoms, and you can hear him because I knew that when we got to that mountain pass and there's people standing in the corner, he'd start whacking it, and all I could hear was this me, and he's like swearing in my ear. He goes, Steve,
where's it gone?
It doesn't effing work. It doesn't work. And we had to pull over and put the pin back on, and I still, do you know where he's going to find out now? Because he generally thought that just fell off. But
did he?
I pulled it off. But on Lake Geneva, we're walking along, and you know the French and Swiss properties, they've got the shutters on the windows.
Yeah.
You've got the little thin pathways alongside the road. And there's this woman, she's kind of fit, she's got a nice tight tush at the back, and you can see her walking along, and he just has to hit his horn.
A tush is a rucksack, people, in case you're wondering.
No, it's not. But she's looking great and everything, and he just has to hit his horn. And whenever you do that, you've got a sound bomb, haven't you?
No, I had one on the Triumph that I had, but not on the GS.
Right. But you know how loud they are, and if you're not expecting it, and you do it next to someone, we've had people jump into hedges. Actually, on the way back I'm jumping from one thing to the other. I've had a guy on the way back from Hooters, Nottingham, and he jumped in a hedge when my mate hit the horn, but he can't see the after effects. I'm watching him jump into the hedge. He's gone. I think, oh, that's horrendous, and it's not on camera. But a woman in Geneva, she walked right into the shutter. The shutter was half open. She jumped to the right, and all I saw was, poof. It's awful. And then I had a street, but it is on. This is on camera. But I was using an Insta360, and the quality wasn't that great. And I don't know, because I was riding along at the same time. But you can just about see over my shoulder with the Insta360, and you can see her coming around the side of the shutter. The thing is, she was swearing in English.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Clever. Maybe she was English, I don't know. But she was effing it. Yeah. Terrible. But no, it never made any B-roll or video or anything like that. No.
I was going to say, did that ever go on film?
No, it didn't. I do have it. No, actually, I've probably deleted all that stuff, all that content now, because as you know, you need so much storage, don't you?
I'm just going through that now. I've got, I must have about 50 terabytes worth of external hard drives, like 5 or 6 different hard drives.
Serious?
And one of them, I bought a big 20 terabyte or 24 terabyte duo book thing, which was going to be my sort of backup drive. And it's just shat itself, basically. So I'm like, no. there's about 9 terabytes of footage on it. Oh no.
Well, you can't get it off.
It works every now and then, but I know from previous experience that this only goes one way. You know, eventually it just doesn't.
Is it not
it
solid
skips
state?
all the time. No, I use little solid states to edit on, but then I once I've finished editing a project and it's done and the vid's published, I take all the footage and the complete project, and I move it across onto like a standard external hard drive, because they're cheaper. They're not, 50 terabytes of SSD is a considerable amount of Wonga.
They are, but you can't take the what do they call the hard drive that aren't SSDs? The disk ones. What are they called?
I don't know. I just call them normal.
Normal drives, yeah. So you can't take those on road trips because they can become damaged if they get knocked.
That's what happened on my world trip. Same thing. I all the footage up to I got to South Korea, and the external hard drive that I had shit itself, and I lost all that data until I managed to recover about 70% of it when I got back to the UK, but it cost me about $2,000 to get that done.
Wow. Yeah, I've got a SanDisk. I'm looking at it now. I can't show it on camera because it's plugged in and you need to eject it, don't you? But I've got a little SanDisk SSD 2 terabyte thing. Bloody expensive.
That's what I've got. Yeah, the little one with the orange
keyring.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're good though.
They're ever so good. Yeah. Whenever you carry your Mac around, you've got this little thing flapping from the side of your laptop. But it is good. But I still think for my next road trip, I'm just going to, because I sell SD cards as part of the dash cam. So I have loads of SD cards here anyway, but obviously they cost money as well. But I think I'm just going to have an SD card for every day for every device now.
Okay,
It seems crazy because you do still have to waste time taking the SD card out of the devices, putting it into your Mac, into your reader, transferring it across to your SSD, and that and whilst your mates are already down in the first bottle, so
yeah. And it means you don't need to take the laptop with you, do you? Because I take my laptop with me everywhere, and it weighs a bloody ton. But, right. That first beer has worked its way through. Shall we do
second?
Are you? Well, yeah. I've nearly finished the first bottle. Shall we do a quick natural break? Do you need one?
No, but you can do it. I don't mind.
Yeah, I have the weak bladder. I'm going to go for a pee. You listen to the sponsor read it. All right, folks, sponsor time. First one, Innov. Now, as you all know, Innov sponsor the main TeapotOne channel also. I bought the original C5 single camera system, did my own vids on that. Then Innov came on board. I've done the dual motorcycle camera systems, which are the K2 1080 resolution. Then they brought out the K5, their flagship model, which is 4K for the front, 1080 for the rear. It's got upgraded Wi-Fi, much faster. It's got much better GPS on it. And it's also got an external mic capability and a handy remote that you can mount up near the cockpit, near the handlebars, etc. And you've got an instant visual record as to whether or not the system is operating properly, whether it's detected anything, and there's also a button on there where you can take pictures, you can manually lock segments of your files. Say something happens and you think, I want to keep that. You can push the button and it'll lock that file so it won't be overwritten in the loop function. They've now just brought out the K3. I'm just finishing the review. That should be coming out this week, actually, which is basically the K5, but in the 1080 resolution front and rear. It's a downgraded Wi-Fi. Look for the vid coming out. I thought the K3 was going to be the one to get, but I'm actually now beginning to think it might be the K5. But anyway, check out the video soon on the TeapotOne channel and see what you think. It's great to have the dashcam system fitted to the bike. It's constantly recording all the time. It's got a parking mode, so it even protects your bike when you're not there. Check them out. Head to innov.co.uk. That's innov.co.uk/TP1 to spread the love. We are also sponsored by Ultimate Add-ons. Ultimate Add-ons are the premium manufacturer of mobile phone and action camera mounting solutions for motorcycles, with a kit for any bike and a proven track record of creating products that keep your devices safe, secure and easily accessible. The Ultimate Add-ons product range is ideal for any rider, from the commuter to the round-the-world adventurer. That's me. Why shell out on an expensive GPS system when you could use your smartphone, keeping it charged and within reach to take photos of your travels at the same time? Ultimate Add-ons waterproof, shockproof and dustproof tough cases are available for all flagship smartphone models and are designed by riders for riders. Find out why Ride Magazine gives Ultimate Add-ons their coveted Best Buy certification. Keep riding this winter with Ultimate Add-ons. It's all about the journey. And if you head to ultimateaddons.com, use the code TeapotOne10 for 10% off. That's TEAPOTONE with the number 10, TeapotOne10 for 10% off. Now, let's get back to the podcast.
Oh, he's back. Yeah. So I got my wife. Are we rolling? Because my wife's here. She's wants to say hello.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Just want to be on camera. Hello,
she's on
hi.
gym.
How are you?
How are
You're on the
you?
gym. I'm good, thank you.
Oh, I like your beard.
Well, thank you very much.
Very cool. Do you brush it?
You have to. It's terrible. On it. Well, obviously, I have nothing up here anymore. But this takes more. It takes more work than my hair ever did. Yeah.
Excellent. I'll leave you to. I just want to come and say hello.
Nice to meet you.
Find the blank.
And we're back in the room. Oh, I'm getting old. I'm definitely getting old. My bladder is terrible, especially when I've had a beer. Oh.
I did go in the end as well.
You did?
Yeah.
Good. Well, that's that now, isn't it? We'll be going every 20 minutes now. Right, so that was question 3. Let's go on with the next one. Tractor Paul. Hi to both of you. Hope you're both well. All good, thank you, Paul. Just wanted to say thanks to Steve, great products and vids. I fitted a D4 bundle and an Innov K2, all doing well, and thanks again. Ah, nice. I hope you got them from Steve then, Paul. Next question. I've just seen who it's from. I don't know if you're aware of this. Pete English, does that name ring a bell? Right,
It does ring a bell, yeah.
Pete has a bit of a reputation for his style of question for the podcast. God, okay. So, get ready for this. Hi, guys. Hope you're both fit and well. Well, I'm well, Pete. I'd say I'm well. Did you know there's an actual job where people test and taste dog food? If you found out your partner had a secret second job that they absolutely loved and didn't want to give it up, would you rather it be an exotic dancer, an adult toy tester, or the worst of all, a traffic warden?
My wife just left the room. I don't think you... So, what's the dog food thing got to do with all that?
I think that was just setting us up. That's all that is.
Okay, right,
it's to throw you, I think. So you find out your partner's got a secret second job. What is the worst option that could be for you? An exotic dancer, an adult toy tester, or the worst of all, a traffic warden? Easy for me.
Well, thing is, I've got no problem with any of those jobs. But
Do you
I think I'd have more. I think I'd have more a problem if it's secret. Because thinking, why couldn't you tell me? You know, so I'm very open-minded. So I don't know. Well, what's your answer then?
It's a traffic warden. I wouldn't bother me in the slightest.
I would say the same, but I don't want people thinking, what's wrong with being a traffic warden? Are you too good to be a traffic warden? I don't want people thinking that.
I was a copper for 18 years. I'm used to people hating me. You know, if you take that job on, then you've got to accept the fact you're going to attract a lot of flack, and I don't. No. Out of all those jobs, I wouldn't care if they were an exotic dancer because, again, you could enjoy that yourself, couldn't you? I wouldn't be caring if they were an adult toy tester because, again, you could have that for your advantage too. Traffic warden, there's no good going to come of that, is there? Unless people park outside your house all the time.
Yeah. Great question from Pete English.
Next one, Chris Kemp. Hi guys, if you only had $3,000 for a second bike, what would it be? And Bruce, is it true if you call a police officer mate, it's like poking a hungry Rottweiler with a stick, and why? Yes, I'll answer that one. Yes. It depends how you say it. It depends how you say it. Because you get people who they're blatantly in the wrong. You've caught them out for doing something, and they either try to be your absolute best mate and call you mate, or they're really trying to wind you up, and they're blatantly lying to you, and they call you mate again, and that will just get a copper's back up, definitely. So really? I mean. Yeah, it depends how you say it. It really does depend how you say it. If you're the type of person that uses mate all the time and it just rolls off the tongue, then yeah, no problem at all. But some people just have a way of dropping it in that's quite inflammatory. Sounds weird, but When you're in that situation, you're like, you're taking the mick now. Yeah.
Do you think it's along the same? Do you think it's along the same sort of lines of when? Because I've always been in sales.
Yeah.
It's always been my own companies, but I've always been selling. And every now and then you'll, I've got to be careful I say this, but you'd have someone, you do have to be careful though, don't you?
Yes.
You'd have someone say, you do me your best price, my friend, and they're calling you, you're my friend. I don't know you. How am I your friend? And sometimes that wound me up, and it wouldn't be because they're a different race. It's just because I'm thinking, I don't know you, I've never met you, I don't know anything about you, and you're saying I'm already your friend, and you're saying that to try and get a discount.
Yes.
So
definitely.
Yeah,
and it works.
On the same sort of.
Yeah, and it works the other way as well. Like I can remember in my previous life stopping and dealing with somebody in the street, and I'll go, "Listen, bud. I use bud all the time. It just rolls off my tongue." Or you go, "Listen, mate, there's only two ways we can deal with this." And I've had other people go, "I'm not your mate," and I totally understand that. I get that, but conversely, I've said that to people as well when they've said that to me. So yeah, I get it. I understand it.
What did you call me not long ago, though?
Oh, I think I called you a prick, didn't I? Was it a prick? Was that right?
Right, so I'm now speaking to everyone here. Right.
And you took proper offence.
Bloody did. So Bruce and I were talking on Instagram, and I haven't shown it on any of my videos, but I got this really cool new drone, which I know he really, really wants badly.
Yeah.
And we were chatting just on private messenger or on Instagram and everything, and he called me a prick. I was like... so I responded saying, "I think that was meant for someone else." And he said, "No, it's for you."
It's like, honestly, like that is just, that's like a term of endearment back in Scotland. Wow. Depends how you say it, absolutely. Yeah, but obviously when you type it, there's no... you can't hear any what's the word inflection. You can't hear how I'm meaning it, can you? Like if I was to see you in person, I'd be like, "Oh, you prick, what you doing?" It's just it's a term of endearment up north, like mum jokes. In Scotland, mum jokes are just second nature, but I found down here, blimey, people take mum jokes to heart.
So if I start holding this up, is this gonna
oh, you prick.
I bought props, I've got props here.
How are you finding that, folks? That's the Skydio 2, if you're not aware. It is awesome. Is it as good as it looks in the videos?
It is great. So I've already told you I was riding the bike through the woods the other day. So that we didn't take the drone for that because we had a proper film crew. Well, Tom Boombox was doing all the videoing and stuff. So that was all like creamy, buttery B-roll, that sort of stuff. I know you're a Peter McKinnon
absolutely
viewer, subscriber and stuff. Yeah, because sometimes I'm looking at Peter McKinnon stuff and I can see TeapotOne. He likes it. Right. So buttery B-roll is very much a Peter McKinnon thing, isn't it? But I was in those woods last week with my youngest daughter, and we literally took it in there and just set it on. And these woods, no leaves on the trees, lots of little thin branches, perfect recipe for crashing a drone.
Yeah.
Just found a way through the whole lot. It was amazing.
Stunning, isn't it? Stunning.
Yeah, it really is good. Yeah, uncrashable drone.
Well, I think it's absolutely stunning. However, it scares the life out of me because, as soon as I saw it, what flashed in my head was Terminator. That's what flashed in my head. I was like, if someone weaponizes that, we're all screwed. And lo and behold, Skydio now do a lot of work with the American military and their law enforcement and emergency services. And you just think, man, that totally autonomous drone, fit it with facial recognition. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, well, I have because of lockdown being eased up a little bit, and my eldest daughter, I haven't seen her since before Christmas, and she was over last weekend, which was fabulous. So she's 19, and I've got the Skydio 2 out, and I said, "Look, do you want to play on my new toy?" He goes, well, what does it do then? What does it do then? He goes, well, just hold this. So I gave it a little beacon, and launched it. And I said, right, it's now following you. I says, you try and hide. Yeah, you see in my front garden on videos, yeah. I said, you've got all this area.
The one, is that the one the guy landed the helicopter in, that front garden?
Yeah. And then you got the side orchard as well. It says, hide anywhere. Don't go inside the house, though, but run anywhere. You've got the orchard, you've got the tennis courts, you've got the front garden. Yeah, you try and hide. She couldn't hide. And it was kind of scary because I set it on to be in front of her as well. So as soon as she started running in a different direction, it would then come around the front of her and just stop right in front of her. And it's scary. It's thinking, wow. Because it's got the artificial intelligence chip in it as well.
Yeah.
But she did. She gave it. So she got under some bushes and she went through some close trees and where it couldn't get through. But then it realised it couldn't get through. It just jumped over the top and met her on the other side. It was just
stunning,
crazy,
absolutely stunning. Yeah. Folks, if you've not seen this yet, check it out. Skydio, SKYDIO.com. It is phenomenal. Yeah. I want one, absolutely. There's issues, you can't really. Well, we'll not go there, but.
Well, the fact is that they're not selling them in the UK, so you can't buy them in the UK. You have to know someone in America, and
don't go any further. Don't go any further.
Really?
Yeah. Just don't go any further, because there might be one making an appearance in some vids soon.
You can edit all this anyway.
Exactly. No, I don't edit the podcast at all.
Oh, don't you?
Check out. No. It's just as it. Well, once I had to edit it. Once. And I
was that 44 teeth by any chance?
No. Really? It wasn't. Yeah, no, it wasn't. It was an outside influence on one of the guests that I had. I can't go into it. Anyone that listens to the podcast regularly or watches the video will probably be able to figure it out. But yeah, I was asked to change something by an outside agency.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, first part of Chris Kemp's question. Hi guys, if you only had $3,000 for a second bike, what would it be? So $3,000 for another bike.
Yeah, going back to the R100, an old R100.
Oh, okay.
I don't think $3,000 would be enough. No, I think I need more than that, wouldn't I? Some old dirt bike, because I find myself watching the reels on Instagram of these Husqvarnas. I don't know how to pronounce it. Like the 350s, the 450s, and I watch Girl on a Bike, and God, she's talented on a bike, isn't she? And I watch all that as well, and I wouldn't be surprised if I take ownership of a Husqvarna trail bike in the next few months.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I would like a little off-road bike to sort of do some work on it and start learning how to off-road, because I make a big deal about hating off-road. I don't hate off-road. It's just because I don't know what I'm doing, so I feel uncomfortable when I'm off-road. But I see the appeal. You watch Vanessa on her bike. You watch Lyndon Poskett on. You watch what they're doing. It's absolutely stunning. Another one. So yeah, I would like to get better. Yeah, I think a little off-road bike, definitely. Yeah. Right, next question. The Mad Leprechaun. This is Mart with the sidecar. To both, tell us something that you have done and are really proud of and no one knows. Also, just for fun, do double glazing salesmen go window shopping at weekends? Don't know about that last one, Mart, but something you've done and you're really proud of but nobody knows.
Something that I'm really proud of that nobody knows. Then I'll be breaking that, wouldn't I? It's a good question, though.
Yeah, it is. Something I'm really proud of and no one knows.
Maybe. Well, I hit 10,000 subscribers. I know it's nothing like your 50,000, but honestly, hit 10,000 subscribers, and I went on a little spending spree at Belstaff. I'm a bit of a Belstaff monkey. I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that, but that's what I like to wear. And I was really chuffed with that.
10,000 is a massive stage. Absolutely.
Well, nearly 11,000 now. So
honestly, that first 10,000 can take forever, can't it? And I found that jump from like 10 to 20 happened really quite quick, and then it felt like it dragged forever to get to 30, and then all of a sudden I'm at 50. And now, like, my channel's just, I don't know, this last week it's just died. I don't know what's going on. Had a whole load of subscribers. Yeah, I've lost like 200 odd subscribers over the last couple of days. The views have gone from on a bad day about 10,000 over the last sort of day, and now they're like a couple of hundred. I don't know what's going on.
Well, you need to stop saying that as well, because you need to, even if things are bad, you've got to give people the impression that things are great all the time, because people want to follow. Yeah.
No, that's true. That is true. And I'm also a firm believer of the power of a positive mindset. Yeah. You know, does it have an outside influence to change things? No, I don't think so. But on you, yes, I think it does. And I think if you take a positive mindset, like you were saying earlier, if you take a positive mindset towards something and you're like, right, that's my objective, and I'm striving towards that, and I'm going to make that happen. If you put everything you have into that, then chances are you're going to make that happen, aren't you? Of course, there'll be obstacles coming in your way, but you just work your way around them, don't you? And you figure it out, and eventually you attain whatever it is that you're after.
Yeah, and I used to do it. Sorry.
No, go on. No, go on. Please go on.
I used to do, when I used to go and do my public speaking at universities, it wasn't my own material, to be fair, but it's something that resonated with me. And because people wanted to know what it takes to be successful, what it takes to achieve stuff. And I said, well, you've really got to take the mentality of the ability to breathe. So I won't go through the whole thing right now, because I can draw it out for like 5 minutes. But it's about this wise old man trying to teach this young lad who, he says he wants to be successful. He thinks he wants to be successful. He wants to be successful just like this old, very successful billionaire. And he tries, and so what they do is they walk out into the sea, and he holds his head under the water, and he's basically drowning him. And he says, what the hell are you doing? And this guy can't get any air. This lad can't get any air. And eventually he gets up, he gets through, he does whatever's necessary to get his head above water and take a breath. So that really resonates with me, because he then said to the young lad, who was nearly died, nearly drowned there, he said to him, he says, the day you want to be successful, as bad as you want to breathe. You know, so it's whether that's relevant or not, I don't know.
No, it absolutely is. Yeah, definitely. I think that's probably what the difference is between those who attain. Well, it is, without a shadow of a doubt. It's the difference between those who attain their goals consistently, and those who don't. Is that those who never give up?
You can take it too far. So I was. True. The thing is, maybe I really, when you asked me to come on here, I was like, well, this is probably a really good opportunity, because I don't like talking about myself so much on my own videos. I don't want to be talking about my last business, and I get people asking me, how can you afford that house? And I don't mind, if someone asks me, but I'm not going to go on there. Some people are saying, stop putting your house on there. You're showing off. And I'm thinking, well, this is my home. This is where I live. I'm not trying to show it off or anything. But what was the point I was trying to make? I was about to say
about coming on here.
About coming on here. Oh, I had a point to make then. It's the beer. On my third. If you knew my mates, that I'm a very, very cheap night out. I am very, very cheap night out.
You'll be stripping soon.
It is warm in here. It's very, very hot in here. Very, very, very hot. It's like I think it's 29 degrees in this room. It's very, very, very hot. Yeah,
that is your pool room, though, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. Well, it's the only room I can get my bike into. Well, unless I go put it in the lounge, but it's no. So I thought it was perfect. I just rode the bike round and put it through the double doors.
What I'd like every listener and viewer to do right now is just pop out and check what temperature your pool room is, please. Right, let's go back to Mertz, to the Mad Leprechaun's first part of his question. Tell us something you've done and you're really proud of and no one knows, because we've skirted that, haven't we? We didn't answer it.
Well, I did. I said the 10,000 because it's very, very recent. The 10,000.
10,000. Yeah,
so I'm very, very proud of it. So, and not only that, it's a lot of people think I'm probably like, I was going to say, the thing that I really focus on within my business, because I've got a Trustpilot account. So, and you can't fake a Trustpilot account. And so it's basically the customers who are actually buying from me, and they leave reviews on there. And that's, so for me, it actually went to 4.9. So 5 is the highest. It went to 4.9 for about a day.
Wow.
A couple of days ago. And it's gone back to 4.8 again because someone wasn't happy. But it's because I've become a victim of my own success in a bike thing, because I can't, this week especially, being a 4-day working week, I took time out to spend with my family at Easter. That meant there's a backlog. You've got people who just don't understand. They send an email on Good Friday. They don't get a response till Sunday. They're giving you grief. And some of them have probably watched this right now. Do you know what? I've got one customer, and I'm not going to mention his name, but he knows.
Another thing.
He knows who he is. and as soon as he watches it, he'll be on WhatsApp because he's got my number. He's a really good customer and a really nice bloke. I actually like him. We chat a lot. So we're kind of those mates who have never met and stuff. Yeah. But he reached out to me and asked me a question about something. And I was so busy. I just went back to him, bearing in mind I've been speaking to him for quite a few weeks, or months, if you like. And I went back to him and spoke to him like a mate, because we chat like mates. I said to him, I'm too busy to answer your question right now, but I'll come back to you after 3 p.m, of which I did. I actually got back to him by 2:30, by which time, and he doesn't realize it has offended me a little bit, by which time he says, sorry, I found that was quite arrogant of you, that you're too busy to talk to me. Because I was so busy getting stuff out the door to meet FedEx. And I bought it elsewhere now, and I did. And he did. Sorry, I've upset you, Steve. I said no, but he's not watching this now. Sorry, it's the drink as well. So the truth comes out, doesn't it?
It's going to get leery now. No, but it is the thing about the written word, and I'm as guilty as the next one, in that I read comments that people leave on the videos and on social media and all this sort of stuff. I do. You're always told don't read the comments, but I want to engage with people. I've done it from day one, and I maintain that no matter what level I ever get to in terms of subscribers, I'll always do it. I'll always do my best to try and answer every single comment if I can. But you know what it's like. You read a comment and you can take that comment at least 2 different ways, if not 20. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it depends what mood you're in, doesn't it, when you read it? And I've done it. And I've just found something we were talking about earlier, this last lockdown in particular, and in this last month especially, I've just felt like, just in a real downer, and there just feels like there's a lot more negativity around in the comments, and it gets to you, doesn't it, when you're reading them? And I've found myself biting back at people, and then I said it before in the podcast, you bite back thinking that they've said one thing, and then they reply and go, "Well, I didn't," like me calling you a prick. I didn't mean any offence about it at all. And I've had people with that where I've replied thinking that they were having a dig, and they're like, "No, I wasn't having a dig," and you're like, "Oh God, I'm sorry." It's just part and parcel of the written word. I think it's not a great form of communication, is it?
No, it's not. No, absolutely not. No. But the thing for me, I mean, getting back to the point, is that I don't. And I say this as like advice if you're running a business and you might be struggling, is that don't focus on the money. Don't focus on making a profit. You focus on literally being successful and being really good at what you're doing. So for me, I take a lot of pride with my Trustpilot scoring. So that means more to me than the pound notes in the bank. But then the pound notes get looked after. It's a byproduct. So the success comes with it.
Yeah. That's true. But it's also like for me, I'm at the very early stages really of building my brand, of building my business. And I sort of just about break even. If truth be told, for the last sort of 4 to 6 months, I'm not breaking even. I'm relying on money that I saved before I left the old bill. And it's hard not to be concentrating on the money, because you're like, I've got a mortgage to pay, I've got bills to pay, and that's tough, because it starts not becoming a passion, it starts becoming a necessity. And I do think that's dangerous, because you can see that has a negative impact on the quality of the work that you produce, definitely. Because you're not feeling upbeat, you're not feeling like full of enthusiasm, and that can't help. And it portrays, when on video, that portrays, like, people are like, "Are you all right? You don't seem your normal jovial self." And you're like,
You've got to put your war paint on.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, absolutely, you do. Yeah, you do. So it's a very interesting journey, becoming self-employed, when you've been, inherently sort of employed by the state, like I have for nearly 20 years. All of a sudden, you're now self-employed, and it's like, what is this? What is going on here? Big learning curve. I'm enjoying it. I am enjoying it.
Can I ask you, how old are you? I have no idea, because the beard, I think, messes with you. Don't ask me to guess.
Okay. You probably will not think this, but I am 44.
Are you really? Do you know? Well, right. So I asked you that question because, so you're younger than me. You're younger than me. Sorry, I've got to be careful how I come across there. So because the beard does age you. You know that. Don't you? I'm not trying to be horrible, but it does. So I generally thought you. I'm not going to say anymore.
I've had people say that they thought I was in my mid to late 50s, 60s, all sorts. And
60s? Oh, no. Yeah.
It's weird, because when I shave the beard off, I have a total baby face. I have a proper baby face.
I know. I've seen it. Yeah.
And
I was that guy who went on your YouTube. You can't watch it all, can you? Well, you could, but you haven't got time. But you just go back to the first one. Just go back to the first one. Right. Yeah, I watched that one of you. I'm thinking, oh, look at him without a beard. Does he look weird?
But then that is, well, that's 11 years ago now. No, 10 years ago was the trip. I think probably the earliest video on there is about 2010. I think it's a really bad mobile phone clip of me with a map up on the wall. I think that's the first vid that's on there. And that was 2010. God, that feels like a lifetime ago. Mark, I'm trying to think, what have I done that I'm really proud of and no one knows? There's a lot of stuff in my previous work life that I'm very proud of. But, well, I can't... It wouldn't be right, I think. Things, on a very generic sense, I used to take pride in doing some things in that job that perhaps you would think, what? Like when you have to, there's a thing called a death message, when you have to tell the next of kin or the loved one that their other half has passed away, so they've been involved in an accident, passed away. It's horrible. Absolutely. It's a horrible part of that job, but it has to be done. And you have to do that in a good way, because that has a huge impact. That could be life-changing to somebody, and you've got to have compassion. You've got to be professional about it. You can't sit there and babble your words and burst into tears or skirt around the issue, But the same case, you can't be blunt about it. You've got to be compassionate. And I sort of, I think I would definitely take pride in how I handled that aspect of the job. But it's not something you can, you can't turn around to somebody and go, so tell me, how did that go down then? How do you feel about that? Could I have done that better? You can't do that, can you? So I think in a weird way, that's something I'm quite proud of, in that I feel like I I did my job properly in those circumstances. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, you actually you're touching on something quite personal to me. You are here.
Oh, I do apologise, man. Sorry.
No, don't apologise. We're allowed to go off on tangents, aren't we?
Of course. If you want to, you don't need to by any stretch.
No, it's fine. This isn't when I say personal. It's so it's my dad. So actually, while we're on subject of them, because a lot of people don't realise. So we cast our minds back. How many months now? Is it 18 months ago? So do you remember when COVID hadn't hit England, but it was in China and it was in Japan, and there was a cruise ship in Japan, and they had the old couple on the Japanese cruise ship. That's my mum and dad.
Oh my
God!
God.
That? I don't know if you read it. Yeah.
No.
So that's mum and dad. So they were two of the first Brits to actually contract COVID-19, but they were on the cruise. They were on that Japanese cruise ship. They got admitted to a hospital in Japan, and then eventually I got them back at some point in February, March of 2020, just before England went into lockdown. So glad that they're alive. They got through it. My dad had a stroke as well, but later on in 2020 as well. But he came through that as well. But the reason what you're saying there resonates with me because my dad set a company up. When I say set a company up, my dad's a reverend, so man of the cloth. That beer's really working. A man of the cloth, and I'm so proud of my old man. But his speciality, what he's really good at, is what you just spoke about just then. So he actually came out of the church. I can't remember dates and years and stuff, but what he's kind of like embraced and does very well is funerals. So he is a celebrant. Have you heard that term, celebrant? So a celebrant is someone who can marry people and also do funerals. So he actually married me and my second wife, my wife. So and it was lovely. It's nice and personal. So that's lovely. But what he's really good at is the funerals. So and part of that his job, which he doesn't do so much now, but he's trained up 250 odd celebrants who work for him now. Who he kind of trains them, and they have to deal with. I've got to be careful because I don't want to come across like a blubbering mess. But he trains them how to deal with child deaths. That sort of thing. Yeah, and there was a time when he asked me when he knew I sold my company and I was having fun with bikes and everything. He says, this is perfect. You're perfect for it, Steve. You come in and take over the reins. I said, there's no way I can go into people's homes and talk about, and do that. I'm just going to be crying. Because I'm so sensitive. I am actually a really sensitive guy. So I'll be blobbing away. And but that's one of the things that he's actually excels at because you need someone to be able to manage that whole death experience.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, I used to find anything involving in children, I used to find really, really quite hard to deal with because I think at that time when I was sort of involved in the 999 response side of policing, my son was still quite young, and I did find that very hard to deal with.
But if you are not, you're good at what you do right now, the whole TeapotOne and everything. But if you ever are thinking you want to change and you're good at that, then when my old Mal could easily train you up because it's terrible because it's a thriving business. Like the death marriages and deaths.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's all part of life, and he's got a couple of hundred people who work underneath him all over the country, officiating weddings and funerals and making them very personal. And I actually went to a funeral because it's someone in our family, and he had the whole room at the funeral laughing and crying, and you didn't know. You felt bad, you felt guilty, but he was so good at it because he got you laughing because it was like all about the pulling out all the good bits about that person. He's like, yeah, it's great.
Definitely. You reach a stage in life, don't you, when you find that you're going to a lot of funerals, and I'm sort of there really at the moment. And well, obviously not at the moment, but it makes such a difference when it's a personal affair. And as you said, when there's the light moments of recollection, and somebody's there who actually knows that person who's passed on, and they can relate that to you. And if you know them as well, I just find it makes it a lot easier to deal with.
Well, part of the training of the celebrancy stuff he does, he really makes sure that the celebrants go in and get to know the family, and they ask specific questions so they know the person who passed. They know them inside out. So when they are delivering that sermon, or not sermon, when they're delivering that service, the whole funeral thing, eulogy, all that sort of thing, it's very personal. He gets all the family laughing and crying. It's like you walk away thinking, that was great. It was a funeral, but that was great. And then they start crying again. But it's like, what an amazing send off.
It's a celebration, though, isn't it, of that person's life, their time there. Right. Anyway, let's lift this a little bit. Last one of the Patreon questions. David Buchholz. A question for you both. What is the most worthwhile upgrades you've made to your tractors? Oh, I got asked this quite recently, actually.
I've got a new upgrade here.
I saw that post. That's very swish. Look at that. That's a Denali beanie, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't think they sell them, though, do they?
I've never seen them before. Yours is the first one I've ever seen. Yeah. And I'm like, I want
D4. One. It's a Denali D4 on your head. Isn't that great? I insisted. It was part of the deal because they came over to film. Yeah. And part of the deal was that they were going to either pay me or give me products. I took the products, and I said, "But I want merch. I want a Denali hat. I've got a Denali buff.
Nice.
Right. I've got a buff.
Nice.
Great,
like it. I've got a set of Denalis. I've got a set of Denalis that I have to install on the bike. Rival Nippy Normans gave me a set of, I'm not sure which ones they are, I can't remember. They're not the great big ones. I prefer the smaller sort of spotlight ones. It's those ones, whatever they are.
I've seen them on the side on some of your videos. They're D2s.
Oh, have you? Yeah. D2s, are they?
I think so.
I've got to install. Well, I'm not going to do an installation vid of it because. Yeah, that's your territory. I'll leave you to do that. I just need to think of a way of incorporating them into some content. So I don't know. I'll have to figure that one out. But anyway, most worthwhile upgrade for you. Is there one in particular, or say two?
I've got to say it's the lights, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
So I think it's being seen. So one of the things I know I sound like I'm wearing my Denali hat right now, so I'm taking it off. But when you end up getting a set of Denalis on your bike, because you haven't put them on there yet, but when you've got them on there and they are bright, and I've just done a video comparison, which you probably haven't seen yet, between the Clearwater and the Denali. And the Clearwater is so expensive, and the Denali's like getting up for half the price, but the Denali's so much brighter. It's like, hang on, what am I getting for this Clearwater when they're supposed to be the top-notch, premium, top-shelf thing? But when you actually get them on your bike, and in the daytime, you will notice cars treat you differently. You'll see cars making different decisions at junctions. But you shouldn't use it. It's like, I won't wear a high vis out of principle, because I believe it can subconsciously give you a false sense of security. So if you are subconsciously thinking, well, they can see me, well, then the chances are they might not be able to see you. They haven't seen you, and they're still going to put that anyway. So I'd rather assume no one can see me, and then I will ride in a way that I know I'm protecting myself. Getting eye contact, seeing a turn of a wheel, the way the car moves. It's hard to explain it to people who don't ride bikes as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's true.
Until you're a rider, you don't realize how you kind of understand how cars move, and you predict what they're going to do, can't you?
You're constantly looking for any sort of reaction from that driver in front, the one coming towards, the one that's behind, the one you're overtaking. You're constantly looking for some sort of reaction from them, whether that, as you said, whether that's a simple move of the head towards the mirror, if it's, over the shoulder, anything, or movement in the road, anything, just to let you know, okay, they've seen me, or I think they've seen me. I get what you're saying about the lights, because I've always had the BMW spotlights on my last two GSs, and on this one I didn't, and I felt totally naked on the bike. I feel really quite vulnerable, and without
you've got
having
a lone
those
rider
spots.
guard as well, haven't you?
Yes, I do. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So that takes it down a bit.
We should put something on there, really.
I didn't realise how much that tints, sort of that tones down that headlight, but it does quite significantly lower the intensity of that beam, I think.
Yeah.
For the daylight, certainly.
But it's worth putting on. It's worth putting on there because it protects the light behind it, doesn't it? You don't want to end up
$1,000. That's $1,000 for that new headlight. If you crack it,
I think it's over $1,000 actually. It's just over.
It? Oh, Jesus Christ! BMW. David, for me, I've said this before when somebody asked, the most worthwhile upgrade for me was the fender extender and the mudsling at the back. It's a cheap bit. Well, it's not a cheap bit of plastic if you get the mudsling ones. You can get the cheapo versions, can't you, on eBay? But I think for both of them, you're talking 180 quid, 200 quid. But the front fender extender just extends your front mudguard by about 4 or 5 inches, and it just stops all the crud getting battered up against your engine plate on the bike, and then the mudsling sort of stops all the crud coming off the back wheel going against your shock, and it makes a big difference, definitely.
Yeah, no, I agree with that actually, because I've got the 719 option on this, and I haven't got the mudsling or the extender, and I've only done 100 miles on it, and my beautiful billet aluminium CNC machined breastplate is caked in mud. So, not that bad. It's just a bit of dust.
That billet accessory pack on the GS is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. My mate Pete English, the guy that has those random questions, he came down here to have my other mate Pete apply the ceramic coating to his brand new GS Rally, and he had the full billet pack put on it, and it just looked amazing, stunning.
Yeah, this has got the full billet. It's I do like it.
That's a fair bit of coin extra, that is. Wow. Fair play to you. Right, that is the Patreon questions done. How are you doing for time? Are you okay for another sort of half hour or so?
I'm good, yeah.
Awesome. Right, lovely. So we'll move across to Instagram. So that's at TeapotOne Insta. And you're on Instagram as well, aren't you? Is it just a bike thing?
I am. Just a bike thing, yeah. A bike
Lovely.
thing.
There'll be links to all of Steve's socials down in the description, folks. So first question is at SamVincent92. Can he put me in touch with the guy who picked up his GSA in a helicopter? I'm sure either me or my missus would happily have a sugar daddy in exchange for a Super Duke or a Multistrada V4. So if you don't know what we're talking about there, folks, Steve had a customer or a friend who arrived at his workplace, his home, in a helicopter, didn't he? He came to get You had his new GS, didn't you?
I did, yeah. So he wasn't a friend. I thought he probably is a friend now. He was actually. I'm not going to mention names. He was okay being on video, so hence why you can see him in the video that I that I put on there. But it's funny actually because I get a lot of customers ask me to call them. I can't call everyone because I regard myself as a nice guy and I can't help but start talking. And before you know it, a 5-minute call ends up being a half-hour call and you don't get any work done. But he asked for a call because he was in hospital. So I thought, okay, well, what's the deal here then? And I think he just had a bike accident as well. So he's like, and he's telling me about, I've come for a bike, I've cracked my hip or something or other. He goes, but I've just bought a brand new GS from my hospital bed. Really? It's quite interesting. Yeah, I've got this new GS, and I've just seen your videos. I'm sitting here procrastinating in bed, and I want you to fit it all out. I want you to do it all. And that's kind of like how it happened. And then he saw another video. He says, "Oh, just seen your pad." He says, "Would you mind awfully if I can land my chopper on your lawn?"
Land your chopper where?
On your lawn. And I said, "I'm absolutely fine." The thing is, where he landed, there actually is a helipad there already. So I only bought this place. We moved in just before Christmas. So and the guy who used to live here, he passed away 4 years ago. His family just held on to it for 4 years, but no one's been living here for 4 years. So it's kind of like a really perfect opportunity because it's got the barns and the courtyard, and there's also another barn which has already been converted for like several years ago, and they've got tenants in there. So I've got my company, which I was looking to take on a commercial property anyway to pay rent. And we've got the rent coming in there. So a bike thing pays rent for those barns over there. And then we've got the rent coming in from those two tenants there. Before you know it, the mortgage is paid every month. So it's actually a bit of a no-brainer. Fair enough, we've had to tick all the boxes to say we can afford the mortgage and everything. But we found a lender who's quite, what's the word? Pragmatic. It's kind of it's worked its way out. So it's kind of perfect. So what was I going to say? So the guy with the chopper. The person we bought it from. He had done very well. He had a big betting company which he sold out to Coral back in 2012 or something. And he was just flying helicopters constantly to his house in Scotland. I hear these stories from the groundsman. So we've got a full-time groundsman who works here too, keeping all the grass nice and mown.
We have such different lives.
I know, but the thing is, what I try to explain to people is it's not a case of where people think, oh, you must be minted. No, not really. It's a case of we've just made it work. It's a business. We've got the barns, we've got the cottages, and we've bought it as a complete set. And then we came in with a cheeky offer, and they said, yeah. I thought, perfect. Just everything just worked out really. So it's so the actual net effect of being here is cheaper than living in our old 4-bedroom house.
That's insane.
The net effect.
That's crazy.
So it does cost a lot of money to live here, but because of all the money coming in, it's actually better to live here. So when he said can we land there, he says, well, there actually is an H in the grass somewhere. You can just about see it sometimes where it used to be there, but I haven't reinstated it. But when I saw that land, I was thinking to myself, how can I get myself in a chopper? Because I can't afford to buy a chopper. But the expensive bit is learning how to fly. So And if you did own a helicopter, let's say a Robinson 22 or a Robinson 44, you wouldn't be flying it every day. Mm-hmm. So it'd be sitting there, hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of equipment sat in your garden doing nothing. So I'm kind of thinking around if I could take a share of one. So I had the use of one for, let's say, 30 days of the year. And then I would learn to fly. And then I'll find a way of, I don't know. But I'm
Steve,
not like,
if you're serious about that, I have a contact within genuinely, who I'll talk to you about off air. I have a contact in the helicopter world who may well be able to make something like that happen. If you're interested, I can put you in touch.
I am, yeah. So the thing is, where I am, where my head is at, I don't know where it's coming across if you read between the lines. I want to take ownership of a helicopter without spending any money. Do you see what I'm getting?
All received. It's
a bit like when I bought this house, where I kind of like showed my wife. I was thinking, this actually is not going to cost us anything. I know we're going to get this massive, huge mortgage, but the net effect, we're going to be better off. It's great for our pensions as well, et cetera, et cetera, as we develop it and we get the barns built. Because we've got our bank actually crying out for us to develop the barns. It says, crack on, get on with it. Let me lend you the money,
Well, this is the perfect time then for us, because we touched on it earlier. You have some plans for the barns and stuff. What's your plans there then? What is it you want to attain eventually?
So the big long barn, which you can see on a lot of my videos, that will be a bit. When I say coffee shop, I don't want to be held down that we've got a coffee shop where we've got to be open 24/7, not 24/7, but 7 days a week. Because this is my home, and it's quite kind of sacred, it is our home, but not sacred. You know what I'm saying?
I know what I mean. I know what you mean.
And then the bit at the very end, I want to be like a ceramic coating area. So when we get the odd customer who's willing to spend that ridiculous amount of money, because you got your mate who can do it for $300.
Who's got the best stuff? Yeah. Super Shield Auto.
Shield stuff. Yeah. Whereas mine's, I've got bought props. You see.
Oh, right. Yeah. That's the second best option. Yeah, got you.
But you can't buy this stuff. You can't actually buy this stuff as a consumer. You can't buy it. You have to have a specialist ceramic pro authorized dealer to actually apply it for you. Anyway, the whole idea is to have that. Is to have that down there where people want to have their bikes completely stripped apart, so we get to every nook and cranny. So that would be the ceramic coating bit down there. Then there's another barn at the back which I want to put my mum and dad in. So it's kind of like as your parents get a bit older, you start to cherish them a little bit, don't you? I don't know. It's kind of weird. Like, there used to be a time where I couldn't stand them, whereas now it's like,
it's weird, man, isn't it? Like, my son is, my boy is 23, he'll be 24 this year. And he's at that stage where, I haven't spoke to my boy every single day since he was, certainly before he was a teenager. And then it became like, because I was down in London, he was up in Glasgow, so it'd be like once a week or every couple of days. Then it becomes like once a month as he becomes a man, and you're like, okay, I understand that. Now he's at this stage where, like, unless I really hound him, I don't hear from my boy for, probably a couple of months, and you're like, do you not like me? What is going on here? But my dad was saying, you're exactly the same. You were exactly the same at that age where, this is before mobiles. Don't forget, we didn't have mobiles, did we, 20 years ago? Or we were just starting to get them. And I suddenly thought, God, you're right. But at that time, at that stage in life, you don't think about it, do you? You don't think about how that affects your parents when you're not in touch with them for weeks or months on end. So, the shoe's on the other foot now, and I'm like, what are you up to? Tell me. Yeah, you do start to cherish your parents. Obviously, I lost my mum back in 2008, and it definitely, the older I've got, I definitely, sounds bad to say it, but I value my dad so much more now as I'm getting older. You sort of appreciate them and all that stuff they used to tell you when you were younger, and you used to think, oh, shut up, you old fart. Now you're like, oh, yeah, I kind of agree with that now. Maybe you were talking some sense, who knows?
Absolutely,
Right. So there was no real question there with Sam. He wants a sugar daddy. So if you can put your mate in touch with Sam Vincent 92, he will or his wife will look after your helicopter mate. Sparrow 4994. Hi. Question to you both. Obviously the GS or GSA are the best bikes in the world. GS, obviously. But what modifications that you have not put on the bike already would you love to add to make it nicer for your pleasure? And also one that is puzzling me and has for ages. How do you get the air inside a tennis ball? I'm not answering that second part of the question, but what have you not done to a GS or a GSA yet? Your own one that you want to?
Nothing really, because I'll just crack on and get it done.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
But there is actually something. Did I cover it in a video? I think I covered it in a video when I was test riding the K5. And because when I did the K5 video, I'm not going to ask you if you've seen it because I know you're a busy man. But when I was test riding that K5, you were also witnessing me test riding my bike for the first time too, since I've done all the mods to it. I was like,
right.
this is cool. Yeah. So I was getting to know, because as soon as I had this delivered, I didn't go for a ride in it. I literally put it in my lounge, stripped it down, and it sat there for 6 weeks waiting for the bars to be powder coated and all the panels to be painted.
Yeah,
that took a long time. And plus trying to run all the mail orders on side of business, people were saying, come on, surely you should be ready by now, but no. Anyway, so I went out on that ride and I was discovering the heated seats for the first time.
Oh.
Yeah, you think you don't need it.
No. I had a Triumph Explorer before the GS, and it had heated seats, and they were amazing. Absolutely amazing. Stunning. Yeah.
Because it doesn't just heat your bum, does it, Bruce?
No, it's great. It is brilliant. I get that. I do get that. I'm not going to spend £400 or £500 to get a blooming heated seat on my tractor. But
I was well impressed. I was really, really impressed because it's not just your bum. It gets the whole thing. It gets the whole package, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's really good. The trouble is, though, is that once those parts are warm, you start feeling cold everywhere else. That's what I've found.
Yeah, but it helps. And you got your hands, and you get your 5 levels on the new bikes. You get your 5 levels of heating, and level 5 is just too much.
Have they 5 levels?
Yeah.
God, what on the GS? Oh, mine.
Yeah. So the only thing is, as soon as you press that button,
it goes max.
On now. As soon as you press that button, and when it's dark, you can't see which button it is either. Someone needs to come up with some backlighting, don't they? But as soon as you press that button, it then the TFT comes up with the option of whether you want to control seat heating, rider seat heating, or the hand grips. So you toggle between the two, and then you adjust it on the wheel, and then the rear seat. There's only 2. I think there's only 2 levels of heating. I haven't tested that. I haven't had a pillion yet.
Right. So what the seat has 5 levels, not the grips, or do the grips have that as well?
Yeah, both do. Grips and seat. Yeah. But so as soon as you press the button for with the button you've currently got on your bike, it's the same button. But as soon as you do that, it activates a toggle feature on the TFT.
On the thingy, yeah,
so you toggle, just like you toggle between nav and TFT, you toggle between seat and grips. Yeah, and then you scroll 5.
I got my GS June last year, and it's still only got 3 levels in the grips. But must have come out just after I got mine then.
Hang on, you got 3 levels.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, two. Yeah. 2 and off 3.
Okay.
Yeah. For me, all I want on, well, there's 2 things I still want to put on my tractor. One is the engine guards. I just, the engine bars. I just want to put engine bars on it just for that peace of mind.
I deal with SW Motec now, don't you?
Do you? Well,
yeah. Cost price to you, Bruce.
Well, see, this sounds really pretentious, and I don't want it, but it plainly is. I'm kind of thinking I'm not going to buy them. I'm just going to see if I can, The trouble is I don't go out with a begging bowl, so I just think, well, somebody might get in touch with me and go, would you want to try these? You know what I mean? And 99% of the time, it never happens. So. But
all right, so if I give you a set of SW Motec lower crash bars, yeah, yeah, I've had enough beers. Okay, I'll do that.
I'll be your best. All right, that's a deal. Thank you very much. Cheers, Steve. That's a deal.
Do you want them in black or silver?
Oh,
you want them in blue? Don't you?
No, oh God, no. Black, I think. Black. What do you think?
Only Vanderlich do them in blue. So it's matte black or silver.
What do you think fits best on the Rally then? The HP? I think black.
Yeah, so have you seen that video I did of I nearly said his name though. So this drink is not good for me. Here, watch this. There's a video I've done, and the guy's got the full HP billet pack on a 1250. Is it a Rally? I'm sure it's a Rally. It's the same bike as yours, yeah. Same
The
bike
HP
as yours,
paint scheme.
but he's got that billet pack as well, the HP billet pack.
Yeah.
And then he's got the black. I took some really good photographs of it. There's definitely a video on my channel of it. It's quite a short video because I just highlight all the parts on his bike.
Yeah.
The SW Motec bars look really good on his bike.
Yeah, they do.
He went
They do.
low, he didn't go upper.
I had SW Motec actually contact me about supplying basically everything they do for the bike. But
Really?
But the condition of that was that I was not allowed to have anything else on my bike. And I was just, well, that's not how this, they wanted a proper exclusivity type of contract. And I was like, that's not how I work. So I knocked it back. But, I was thinking bugger because I loved a lot of their, I've always bought SW Motec kit for the bike. But I was like, nah, I don't want to be tied in like that. You've got your integrity at the end of the day, don't you? And if something's shit, I'm going to say it's shit. I don't want to be tied in to say, oh, this is great when I don't think it's great. But yeah, the other thing is I really miss, I've always had a full Akropovich system on my last two GSs, and this one is bog standard, and my God, I miss that. I really miss that beautiful engine. Just the full system. Oh, it's gorgeous. The sound is amazing. I miss that.
It's funny actually because a bike I had in last week with clear water Dixies on it. The guy he asked me to take off his Akropovich and put on his OEM.
Did he? Why is that?
So I could probably
too loud.
Yes, I must admit he's probably the hardest rider. When I say hardest, what's what I'm looking for? Not badass. He's hardcore. That's the word. Most hardcore rider I know. So he's got a GS Adventure HP, and he only rides it really in America. So he ships it. He has obviously didn't do anything for the last year, but he dropped his bike off and asked me to do work on his sit fits and T3s and work on his Dixies, Clearwater Dixies. But they do 19 hours a day, 19 hours of riding a day.
Yeah.
What do they call it? Iron butt. The Iron Butt Challenge in America.
Yeah.
I think at 19 hours. Is that safe? That can't be right. And so the noise of the Akropovich, he says it's too much. And his wife's on the back as well.
I used to love it, but I do remember I was doing a track day at Bedford Autodrome. I was doing the California Superbike School Day at the Bedford Autodrome. And even with the baffle in, but I think it's probably because it was the full system, I had the baffle in on the Akropovich system. It passed the static noise test, but I kept triggering one of the trackside noise meters. And I was like, oh, right, okay. But I quite like that. I am a firm believer that loud can save lives. I do think, I notice, maybe it's just because I've not got the spotlights. I don't know. But I do feel much more on offer now with a standard can, no spotlights, than I did before. But then some people will say, well, you got knocked off loads before. I did, but that was... commuting in South London is a total different kettle of fish. It's just a different world. You're literally spinning the roulette wheel there. But for me, it would be the exhaust and the engine bars. That's what I miss on my bike. Next one, Salmon and Sons. My OCD means that the D4s I've mounted on the OEM engine bars cause me mental anguish as they aren't sitting equally apart or in the same place as the bars are different sizes. Just thought you should know.
You've got an OCD problem.
Yeah, you can see him cringing. Nice. Next one. Where are we? Robert Newman, 27. Hello, gentlemen. A question for both. When making a cuppa, milk first or last? I'm a milk first man. I get told there is a place reserved in hell for me for it, yet they love the tea I make. You're saying milk last?
Yeah.
Nah. You're wrong. I respect your viewpoint, but you're wrong.
Well, you get the colour just right then, don't you?
See, have you tried milk first?
Yeah.
The key with milk first is hardly any milk. If you like a strong cuppa, it's literally a couple of drips of milk. You don't need much at all.
So my grandmother, bless her soul, she's been gone many, many years, but that was probably the best cup of tea ever. So I suppose, I can't disagree with you, because her tea was the best, because it was always made in a teapot.
I was going to say, teapot.
With a cosy, and she's a northern lass from Liverpool, so originally from Liverpool.
Right.
So milk in the bottom of the cup and pour it in. But for me, it's like you're playing a game of like chance. It's like pot luck. Whereas I haven't made a cup of tea in a kettle for years. So for me, it's a case of throwing a tea bag in a cup, take it to the hot tap.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then you put the milk in to get the colour right.
Yeah, no, I get you. But do you not squeeze the tea bag? Like I'll leave the tea bag. I leave the tea. I don't drink tea, even though I'm called TeapotOne. I very rarely have any tea. I'm a coffee man, and my wife is a total tea addict. She's a northerner, so she's a proper tea addict. Has about 30,000 cups a day. But when I make her a brew, I probably leave the tea bag in there for a good, I'd say 3 to 5 minutes at least.
Wow.
And then
get like scales on the top.
Oh yeah. But she likes a proper strong cup of tea, like proper builder's
tea.
Oh yeah. You know when you go into those cafes for your morning brekkie and they have the vat, the hot iron vat at the back that's had tea bags in it like all week. She loves that sort of tea. Yeah. She's into that. There was actually a thing. Somebody tagged me in it. There was believe it or not, there was a scientific research study done that the results of it were that in hard water areas, milk first actually produces the better tea, because the tea can infuse with the milk and the water better, but it's only in hard water areas apparently.
Yeah, I only drink tea past midday. Coffee in the morning, and tea like past 3 o'clock. I've tried to limit my coffees to one a day, but sometimes two get squeezed in, because I really am a big coffee man. Yeah, so, like myself, I got a really nice machine, a nice Sage Oracle machine, which I bought. Oh, you familiar with the machine?
Highbrow, this man.
Highbrow.
No, I mean it's good. It's good.
Yeah, so I remember I was in John Lewis a few years ago, and I was like, there's no way we're going to spend that kind of money on a frigging coffee machine. But then we tasted one from it, because John Lewis.
Yeah.
It's good. Look at the crema. I was like, that's amazing. Old latte art as well. I love this. Yeah. So I literally walked around the corner, and my wife was saying, well, what are you doing? He goes, I'm working out how we can afford this, because we buy a lot of coffee from Costa Coffee and Starbucks. So I said, if we buy this today, we have to make a vow that we will not buy Starbucks and Costa for the next 2 years. So
for the next 95 years.
No, it wasn't. I actually did the maths, and it was 14 months. So, but based on how much we drink normally in Starbucks, we buy. If we don't buy a Starbucks or Costa for 14 months, within reason, because if you're on holiday or you're away or something, and you need a coffee. So I even got takeaway cups, everything. So you can take your coffee with you. Obviously, you just buy the appropriate mug. But we did. We bought the machine, and we didn't buy Starbucks and Costa, so we did save money. It's it makes great coffee. But
you don't need to justify it to me, Steve.
No, I'm justifying it to myself, because I couldn't justify it. I can't remember how much it was, but I know it's either 2 or 3 grand or something, this machine. But it's one of the best purchases I've ever made.
I was, these little pod machines that you get. I was a bit of a snob. I'd never tasted them, but I used to look at them and think, oh, no, because I was the cafetiere man. You squeeze it, and there's the whole ritual that goes round behind preparing your coffee. Exactly the same as you. For our wedding, we got a load of John Lewis vouchers. So once we were in the house and we'd had the kitchen all redone and stuff, we did the old supermarket sweep, turn up at John Lewis, right, we're going to have this. And my wife was like, why don't you get a coffee machine? And I was just thinking in my head, don't be ridiculous, it's going to cost a fortune. Exactly as you said, the lady was there selling one of those little Lavazza pod machines.
Oh, that good.
And I thought, no, I don't want. Yeah, I thought I don't want a pod machine. And she said, how do you like your coffee? So I told her, and she said, try that. And she gave me one. I was just like, oh my God, that's amazing. So obviously we walked out with a little Lavazza, I think they're called Mia Modi or something, the little pod machines. Brilliant. But I was having about 6 to 8 a day. And it was just, I'm just not sleeping. I would stop drinking by about 5 o'clock in the evening, and I would not be in. You're talking 3 or 4 in the morning before I'm going to bed. So now I limit myself to 1 or 2 a day, really. Now, I love them. I'm definitely a coffee man. Right, we are on to the second last question. Are you okay for time?
Yeah, I could carry on talking about coffee right now, but I won't.
Right, next one. Audace Rider, Audace, Audace Rider. And my question is, why do most GS owners still ride with all the extreme survival boxes on their bikes, even though they're all empty or all their stuff would fit in the top box? Excuse me, because making one's bike 2 meters wide not only stops them from filtering, but all of the other bikers behind the cause. But also, gosh, see when you try and read some people's... Please, people, use punctuation. Please use punctuation. Because making one's bike 2 meter wide not only stops them from filtering, but all of the other bikers behind them, because they never move to allow other people pass.
Okay, so
slight generalisation.
First of all, punctuation requires intelligence and education, and obviously educated riders ride Beamers. So
that's all yours. Steve Abel, a bike thing, all his. You can deal with that.
This is very off record. I know. It's everyone's watching this, but it's off record. And I'm not wearing my bike thing hat. I know I'm representing a bike thing, but I've been drinking, so
it's only about 100,000 downloads. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
I'm jesting. But well, as you know, or a lot of my subscribers know, I don't even have panniers. I've just got rid of them. And this sounds really big-headed. But it's the honest truth that was it my first GS? Yeah, my first GS. I had the silver boxes. I hated them right from day one. But I thought, well, this is it. I wasn't looking around at all the different options with soft bags. I wasn't aware of Moscow Motor and Lone Rider and stuff like that. I just went out and bought it. Didn't look around at all. And then what pass was it on? I can't remember which pass it was on, but I got so low on a corner, I scraped my pannier.
Awesome.
And I thought,
awesome.
Well, maybe it's mounted wrong, I don't know, but they have got sliders on them, haven't they?
Yeah.
And the actual panniers, the pod boxes, they've got like plastic edges. Whether that's just cosmetic or whether it's for sliding, I don't know.
I don't think they're sliders. I think they're there for reinforcement and protection, but they look awesome when they start scraping.
Yeah, so I was very proud of those scrapes I got them both sides as well. I was very happy. Days. I actually lean better to the left than I do to the right. It's kind of weird. I love left bends more than right bends. That'd be a good question, by the way. Has anyone asked that?
I've had it before. I've had it before.
Yeah, left. I like going left. But
I prefer right. Yeah, it's weird that. Are you left-handed or right-handed?
Right-handed.
See, I'm left-handed. Wonder if that's got something to do with it.
It's just that when I go around a left bend and I'm on it, you know what I mean when I say I'm on it. It's just like it just feels like you're correcting everything. It's like you're balancing everything out. I've been going right round roundabouts all this time, and then you go left. It feels new. It feels lovely. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
I tell you what, I actually prefer riding and driving on the right-hand side of the road.
So do I. I
just feel... I hate to... I'm sorry, people. I really am sorry, because I'm British, and all that, but... I genuinely do think I prefer being on the right-hand side of the road.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, okay, here's a question for you then. Bruce. So, because I've never had a problem when riding in Europe where I've accidentally gone out on the left. But I have had the problem coming back home where I'm riding on the right.
Have you?
Yeah, I have, yeah. And sometimes it takes me weeks because I'll be working from home, working on my desk, working in the workshop, and you just jump out in the car and you hit a country lane. And because there's no other cars on the road, you've got nothing to tell you, oh shit, what side am I supposed to be on? I'm in a car, not a bike.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, oh damn, crap, I must be that side.
I have found myself doing that a few times. Like, which side of the road do we? As you jump on the bike and head off, I'm like, right, what side of the road do we ride on again? I have had that before, and I did it once in Germany, going up a street, empty, like you just said, empty street in a town, and I was on the wrong side of the road until the car comes the other way. Like, so I've done that once, yeah.
Yeah, I've got it on camera actually with a mate who did that as well, and he's looking, he's all confused. He's talking to me on the intercoms, and he's saying, "Why is everyone looking at me funny?" He says, "You've just gone the wrong way around the roundabout. You've actually entered it on the right hand side, and it's like the roundabout's shaped in a way for you to go round the roundabout anti-clockwise, but somehow he managed to go clockwise.
Oh my god!
And he had cars everywhere. It's like, what's going on? I guess you took the wrong way round.
Wow, God, that could have ended differently, couldn't it?
Jesus. Yeah.
Now, with this question, I never used to have the old panniers, but I got given a set of the Lone Rider bags, those moto bags, and I like them. I liked the look, but I didn't like the fact that with them, once they were on. There was no quick release. It's just
there is now.
There is now. You can flatten them, but once they were on, it's like, well, that's them on now. Yeah, now they're just launching. I've got some coming. I think they've just launching the new. It's like an adapter kit to turn those bags into quick release. So I'm looking forward to trying them, and I think I've got a big Scandinavia trip coming up in September. So I think I probably will. I will put them on for that, definitely. But I have a top box. I've just got the normal Vario top box on the back of my bike. I just find it handy. It's like a boot on your bike, isn't it? You could chuck stuff in there. So for me, but I'm not one of those people that rides with panniers all the time. And I get what you're saying, Das, about, blocking and holding people up when you're filtering. It is a bit of a nightmare, isn't it, when you get stuck behind them?
Yeah, but if I'm dashing out quickly on the bike to do something, I'll put a rucksack on. Yeah. I've got, let's say, a bag on my handlebar as well. Or if I'm on a road trip, because I've done so many, I've just managed to find a way of packing 2 weeks' worth of clothing into one bag, which sits on my back seat. And it fits lengthways. And that's the Lone Rider. I know I'm plugging it here a little bit, and they don't sponsor me. But they sponsor you, Lone Rider?
No, they don't.
Right,
just supplied some kit.
All right, okay. So I don't get free stuff. I still buy it. I think it's a bit discounted. But if people click through and decide to buy something from Lone Rider, but they click through my website, then I get a little kickback. They used to do discounts, but they don't do that anymore. But what's the bag called? The Overlander bag. There's two different sizes.
I've
got a larger Overlander bag. It's really good. I love it because it's four clicks, which is click, 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 straight on the back. You're into your B&B.
Nice. Yeah, nice. My back teeth are floating again. Can we pop for a quick pee? We've only got one more question to go, but
mine as well, actually.
Right, we'll have a quick natural break. Stand by, folks. I have the bladder of an old man. I'm sorry, people. But anyway, this allows us to chuck in the last sponsor readout, Digital Solutions. Transfer Digital Consultancy are a web design and development consultancy with a passion for creating bespoke digital solutions for everyday challenges. From building websites to building branded solutions, Transfer Digital Consultancy can help your online presence and help ease cash flow with payment options available too. Contact ask at transfor.solutions. That's ask, A-S-K, at transfor, T-R-A-N-S, the number 4, .solutions for more information, or visit transfor.solutions. Right, back to the podcast. Hope you're enjoying it, folks.
Well, you're quicker than me.
That's what she said. Right, we're back in the room, folks. I lied. There's 2 more questions here. Right, Dale Wintle. Yeah, John,
Dale
might as
Winton.
well then.
Dale
Dale
Winton.
Winton. Dale Winton. Is he still alive?
No.
Is he not? Has he passed on?
I'm pretty sure he did, yeah.
Oh, I don't remember. Here's to Dale Winton.
God, I'm dropping stuff now.
Right, next question. Dale Wintle 0022. Hi, I love people's usernames. They're great. Hi to you both. Hope you're well. All good, thank you, Dale. Hope you're well too. Great podcast, by the way, Bruce. Not missed one yet. Thank you very much. Question. When someone asks you why you do ride motorcycles, they're dangerous. What is your answer? Well, for me, yes, they are. You know, yeah, they are dangerous. But it depends how you ride them. But sometimes, you know, accidents happen. But the enjoyment I get from bikes far outweighs anything else for me personally. Is that a wet enough answer?
Yeah, you choose your demons. Yeah. So I say I don't drink. Well, here I am with a drink, but I don't drink. I'm a very, very occasional, so I hardly drop it. And I do enjoy drinking, but I'm like, I can go a month without a beer.
Yeah, same.
You know, don't take drugs or anything like that. Don't smoke. And the answer to that is I can't afford it. And people think, of course you could afford to smoke. Because no, I really can't. And if I could, I'd really feel it. You know, that it's a big financial loss. It's so expensive. But when it comes to bikes, when I discovered bikes,
yeah,
I was doing quite well in my business, and I just bought. I sound like I'm bragging, but I'm just being honest. I'm just being me.
No.
I just rewarded myself. And bought myself a brand new Aston Martin. Now, it's not the one that people can sometimes see on my videos. That's my wife's car. She's actually very successful herself. She's the breadwinner, if I'm completely honest. But so she is. No, seriously, she is. She works for a FTSE 100 company at director level. So she's very successful. But but I bought that car. And I'm thinking, this is great, it's fantastic. You know, people thinking I'm some sort of footballer or something because I was in my early 30s. But then a mate of mine had an FZ 6.
Uh-huh.
And he said, do you want to come on the back of it? And I was like, yeah, he had a helmet for me. And I went on the back of it, I was hooked.
Yeah.
I was hooked. And that was it. The Aston just started gathering dust in the garage. I had to learn to ride. I remember I went away and, so I might divert from the question. Sorry.
No, crack on.
But I was literally booked to go because I was divorced then as well. I hadn't met my wife who I'm with now, and I was booked to go on an 18 to 30s holiday. I was actually 32, but I was booked to go on an 18 to 30s holiday just to go and have a good time.
Yeah.
And I cancelled it to go and learn to ride a bike.
Did you?
Yeah. I can't. So I was booked to go to Mexico, literally just go and sow my oats, basically. And but I just committed to find someone to teach me to ride a bike, and in that week, and so I had to quickly do my theory, pass my theory without even revising for it, and he put me through this intense course. He had to cancel someone as well. He says, I can't put you in for 3 months. He goes, don't worry, I'll find someone else. No, I'll cancel someone. I don't care where it is in the country. I'm going to learn to ride a bike next week. I'm going to pass next week. I don't care where it is, we're going to do it. But anyway, this guy who was local to me, he said, don't worry, I'll cancel someone, we can do it. And he got me through, and I passed. And the first bike was an Aprilia Tuono, 1000cc.
First
and I nearly
bike.
took my life, actually, in my first bike, yeah.
Jesus.
I know. And I remember being very careful, and I remember feeling that power, thinking, oh my God, why did I just spend over 100 grand on Aston Martin when I've got this for like, I don't know, was it 7 grand? I was like, this is amazing. So I kind of like went off card. And I went to the Isle of Man with some friends who had the FZ6, and they kept telling me about the course because they'd been there before. They had a friend who lived in Ramsey at the time, who's unfortunately passed away. Not a bike accident, but yeah. So we went over there, and they're telling me about the. Have you done Isle of Man, Bruce?
Yeah.
Have you been?
Yeah.
So you got the mountain road, and at the end you come down Greg and the Bar, and they're telling me about all the twists and turns because I've done it before. I've never done it, and you come down the end, and you got Greg and the Bar, and you just open up. And I sound like I'm bragging here, but I remember holding back because they had the years of experience of riding their FZ6s, which I look back, I'm not really, I'm not an FZ6 or FZ1 fan at all. But and I was behind them, and I just felt like they're holding me back. But I was also telling myself, this is
feel invincible, don't you?
Faster, because I'd never really experienced the power of this bike yet either. I'd never gone over 5,000 revs. I was riding it very conservatively, and I came around the top of Mountain Road. You do that left turn, and you got Greg and the Bar, and you got the pub at the end, haven't you? And that then reminded me of the conversations we had on the ferry. This is the bit, and they weren't really accelerating out that bend, and I opened her up. Third gear, I opened her up. Now on Greg and the Bar, you've got a dip, haven't you? As you're coming down, you've got a little dip. And on that dip, the front wheel just went straight up like that. My God. I thought that was it. All I saw was sky and clouds. And I grabbed the clutch. All I did was, thank God I didn't grab the brake. I grabbed the clutch. The front nose did come down. I don't know how. It came down, and I was sat on the tank. I remember sitting up on the fuel cap. Pushing myself back with this not a proper tank slapper, but the front wheel's doing this. And I pulled over in the car park, put the kickstand down, stalled it, and just jumped off and just lay down in the car park. Thinking, oh my God, I just couldn't believe that power. The power. But I overtook them at the same time. So as I opened it up, I took them. Front wheel goes up, and I can't bring it back down again. They thought that looks so good. How did you do that?
You were having a 5p, 50p moment. Yeah. Hence why, people, you do not get a Tuono as your first bike. My mate, the guy I was telling you about that went over the roundabout, Amish, that was on his. He'd only just passed. That was his first bike, and it was a Triumph Thruxton R was his first ever bike. Oh my God. He had that year, he crashed twice, but was miraculously hardly damaged the bike at all. Then he went away the following year and did loads of work by himself trying to improve his riding skills, came away with us. And to be honest, he shouldn't be here. He should be dead because he had a huge smash in Portugal. I've still not edited that series of vids because I don't really know how to handle that whole situation because he should be dead. Do you know what I mean? I've got it all on film. I'm like, I don't want his family to see it. I don't really want him to see it again, and it just doesn't feel right, because it would be clickbait gold. People would love to see it, but no, I can't. I just don't want to be part of that. It's a shame because we had such a giggle on the rest of the trip, but just that one. Anyway, so poor old Amish, bless him, doesn't ride anymore at the moment. He's still not fully recovered yet. His shoulder's still a bit knackered. But anyway, Dale, your answer, the answer to your question, what do we say to people that say motorcycles are dangerous? Did we answer that? Yes, they are dangerous, but,
They are, and you have to respect. You have to respect it, and I learned that the hard way. And I've had a few offs. I've been knocked off by a car in Hungary. I've been knocked off due to me not paying attention at slower speeds. It's almost like when someone said to me, "How could you have?" You know, when you've been knocked off, haven't you?
Quite a few times.
Yeah. So. And you constantly go over it in your head over and over again. What could you have done to resolve that? And when I came off in the PCOS, I went down a snow drain. And and my answer was, if I was going 20 mile an hour faster, if I was doing 80 instead of 60, I would have got around that corner because I'd have been on it. I'd have been refocused and paying attention. But we just said to ourselves on our intercoms, let's slow down. Because we keep getting rear end slides, both of us, because you get in PCOS, you get a bit of shingle on the corners sometimes, don't you?
Sometimes,
so it's a bit scratching around. You find yourself going, whoa, you're laughing and think, whoa, that was a close one. But we decided to slow down. We're a couple of days away from getting the ferry and slow down. Let's take in this view. And I was just looking at the view, and before I knew it, I'm going down a snow drain. So should have been going faster.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Like I used to ride so much quicker than I do now. Looking back, ridiculous speeds, but I always felt totally in control. I always felt, and whenever anything happened, bar one time when I nearly killed myself in Germany, but apart from that, whenever anything happened, I was always able to react and. Yeah. Well, looking back, I got away with it. That literally all it was. I got away with it. But in my head, I was like, I can deal with this. I've got the skill level to cope with this. And then I went through this period of about 2 years, a few years ago, just commuting in and out of London, which I did 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year, in all weathers. I was doing that and never had an issue. And then about 4 years ago, I had my first one, which is just some, innocuous rear end shunt. Like I looked over my left shoulder to check the bus lane before I moved into the bus lane. And as I've done that and turned round, the guy in front slammed his brakes on. So I literally just clipped the back light of his car.
Oh, you reared him?
Yeah. So, sorry. It's London after all. And it cracked his rear light cluster. But on my Triumph Explorer, it literally exploded the front. All the plastics fell off the front of my bike. So, and then from that, I ended up having, again, coming home from work, I had a guy do a U-turn. I was filtering by a bus that had pulled in, and the guy in front of the bus, a young lad, just did a U-turn without looking and clipped the front of my bike. Then I had a nurse pull out in front of me. And then what else did I have after that? I had the pheasant incident up in the Lake District. So it was like one thing after the other over a period of about 4 years. And it literally put the brakes on me to the extent now where, I very rarely, I might do 70, 75 in a 60. I might do 80, 85 in a 70. But I just don't do days of old, you'd be maxing out the jigsaw flat out. But I just won't do that anymore. I just slowed right down. And
what's the fastest you've ever gone in a straight line?
Just the Jigsaw 186 flat out. Just pinned. Yeah. Well, you could do that. You do that in France all day long, really. Some of the beautiful big D roads they have there.
Fastest I've done, I'm assuming we're not incriminating ourselves by saying this.
Actually, it was the Autobahn. It was the Autobahn in Germany.
I won't say where. But the fastest I've done is 176 miles per hour. Mm. And the bike was still going. I was on an HP4 carbon. And the bike was still going. Wow. And I remember having this feeling of feeling safe. I remember having this feeling of I'm in this bubble.
Yeah.
Nothing can hurt me. And I also remember when I slowed down, I got down to about 110. I thought I could get off and push it.
That's crazy, isn't it? Absolutely insane, isn't it? Yeah.
And the reason I stopped at 170 odd is because things that I was seeing in the distance were then next to me, and my brain wasn't working fast enough.
Yeah.
And I realized then that no, you need to come off the gas.
You just can't do that on the roads. It's suicide.
It's actually not I didn't find it fun. I remember my adrenaline going at a rate of knots, which is a sign that it's not safe.
Yeah.
But I prefer twisty roads.
Yeah.
Riding between 40 up to 80. Yeah.
Which is why,
yeah.
So go on.
Sorry. I was going to say, I've just started getting the feeling of backing the GS on corners using the back brake before the bends. I've just started doing that on my last road trip. I love it. It doesn't feel like much, but when your mate's behind you and he can see the black line you're making, it's like, no, they're really long black lines. But all you're doing is dabbing it, and you're just backing the wheel out a little bit. It's such a thrill. I really, really enjoy doing.
I'm not going to try that because I'll throw myself over the back. I'll high side it. I know I will. But the thing is, I used to love that speed. I used to love it, and I felt in control. But like now I'm the polar opposite. I think I'm probably overly cautious, I would say now. Or is there such a thing as being overly cautious on a bike? Who knows? I'm alive, so who knows?
Well, the thing is, the more you do to your bike as well, because I've just spent a fortune on this, and I was out filming with Denali yesterday, and I did a lot on my 2018 GSA in the woods, and then we pulled this out to do the road footage. But then, and then Tom was like saying, "God, this bike looks like something out of a movie, Hollywood movie. It's fantastic." And I said, "Well, there's a dirt track, like a gravel drive, which is kicking up loads of dust, and everything." So he asked me to go down there on that, and I was like, took the traction off, and I was spinning the back wheel up, just going down this gravel drive, keeping the front brake on just a little bit, so I wasn't going too fast. And you think to yourself, "Oh my God, if I drop this bike, no." So for me, I'll be gutted if I drop that now. Gutted.
It's in my head now because the past two GSs I've had, once I've got them to the stage where I'm like, I've got everything. I've got the engine bars, I've got the full exhaust system on them. You've done all the little trick bits that you want to do to it. 9 times out of 10, that's when I've had the accident, and then the bike's gone. So I'm almost like that with this one now. I'm thinking, I don't want to trick it up because I can't afford to have another crash.
I know what you mean.
Right.
Yeah.
Last. Oh, blimey.
What's that?
Oh, bloody hell. The SD card, I've never had this happen before. The SD card on my GoPro is now full. We've filled it up. So I'll be relying on this camera now on the computer. So hello from this camera. We are at the last question.
Yeah.
Last one. Nick in Knutsford. What sort of screwdriver do you use? Question for both of you.
First of all, Nick, I've stayed at the Mere in Knutsford many occasions. What a fantastic hotel. If you haven't stayed there, the Mere in Knutsford is really good. Right. Screwdriver, I've got a Milwaukee. I've got the question was the Milwaukee, the screwdriver. What screwdriver do we use? I use a Milwaukee. I don't know what the model number is. It's about 10 digits long, but a Milwaukee 12 volt screwdriver.
I just have like screwdrivers, and I just pick them up and use them. I think they're Halford's own manual ones. That's what I use. Sorry.
Am I very red? I look very red, don't I?
You are quite red, yeah. But you said it is very warm in your pool house.
It is, and all this beer as well.
I tell you what, it's bloody boiling in my little office. I've got all these different lights everywhere bouncing off the walls, and it's like a sauna in here.
Yeah, but Bruce, you're gonna have to come down here. We're gonna have to do some sort of live thing from here. You'll love it in here.
Let's do it. Yeah, the whole point of these pop one. What's that? Yeah, please. Yeah. Let's see it.
Hang on.
Oh my God, there is a pool. I thought you were taking a piss.
You thought I was taking the piss? Yeah,
look. My God.
Me and you in that hot tub, mate. That's a bit gay, I know, but why not, mate?
Oh my good God. I genuinely thought you were taking a piss.
Really?
Wow.
Not at all.
Fair play. Mate, the whole Well, it's not the point of the podcast. The point of the podcast is just the opportunity to chat to people like you, people that have got a story to tell. I enjoy long form conversation, but I want to. In my head, it was always done in person. So, it would be like, for you, it would be like I would write to you, we'd do a feature on a bike thing and what you've got going on there, and then we'd do the podcast, so I'd get video content, and then also we'd do a podcast around it. Obviously, COVID arrived and had other ideas about it. But once we move on and we have freedom back, that's exactly what I want to be able to do. So we should do this in person one day as well, for sure, definitely.
Definitely. Well, there's always a damn good coffee here when you're up this way. So
right, you are on. I'm up for it. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, because one of the other things that we're offering here is the Airbnb side of things. So we've got 2 rooms, 2 double rooms with ensuite and a lounge at one part of the farmhouse, which I'm making available to certain customers where they're bringing their bikes in for work to be done, where I need it overnight kind of thing, and they can stay here, use the facility that's here, use the pool, use we've got a sauna here as well. We want people to use it. It's quite gutting because we've been here since Christmas. I spent quite a bit of money getting the pool filled. It works off a computerized system where it measures all the chlorine and all the pH balance, so it's perfect. The water is perfect.
I haven't even got a bath.
Shut up, yes you have. Right,
we've got a shower.
but it's a shame because of lockdown. Our family, we've got nephews and nieces and stuff who are kids. We've got a beautiful slide on the side of the pool, and they can't even come and use it. Yeah, so
we're nearly out of it.
Use it.
We're nearly free. Yeah. It's nearly there.
Yeah.
What's the best way for people to get in touch with you, should they want?
Yeah, okay. So I prefer people emailing me, steve@abikething.com. I'm not so quick with the social media. I will reply to people eventually, but sometimes it can be 3 days because I actually turn my notifications off on all social media because it's too much of a distraction.
That's a game changer, isn't it?
It is, and really I should be embracing it. And I've been speaking to Tom Boombox because that's his thing, isn't it? The whole social media, and I really gelled with Tom as well. I really like him on a personal level, and also his whole approach to his mindset, his work, and everything. So I'm hoping we might be able to do some work together in the future as well.
Yeah, he's a good lad.
But I need to embrace the social media. But I just don't. It's almost impossible to run a business, run your emails, and do all your social media messages. People just decide, I'm going to message him on Facebook. I'll message him on Instagram, and you've got to keep on top of all of that. It's really hard to do.
I've dropped my Twitter. One, because I don't like the platform anymore. I just find it quite combative, it's full of vitriol. I just don't like Twitter anymore. So I basically put a post up and said, I'm not monitoring this account anymore. You'll find me over on Instagram and Facebook. So, and because Instagram and Facebook, they're both Facebook, aren't they? They're both owned by the same people. Yeah. So I really only monitor Instagram, Facebook, and my YouTube comments. But I did a podcast with the Bro and the Brick. Well, not a podcast. I did this sort of business get together with another podcast called The Bro and the Brave that I'd been a guest on a few years ago. And somebody brought up about screen time, how you can check your screen time on your phone, on your Apple phone. I didn't know anything about it. And I looked at it and I was spending, I think it was 18 or 19 hours a day on my phone. And I just thought, no wonder it's taking me 5 or 6 days to get a video out because I'm sat on my bloody phone. So I did exactly what you said. I turned off the notifications. And wow, what a difference. But they've started to creep in. Because I was missing the odd thing, I've found I turned WhatsApp back on, and then I've turned YouTube back on because I wasn't responding to comments. And you have to. So go on.
There's a lot to do. There's a lot to do. There's a lot to take on. The thing is, in my last company, I had a department that did all that. All the social media sort of stuff. When I say department, I had a few people managing all of the Twitter and the Facebook that we had. We weren't doing Instagram, we were doing Facebook and LinkedIn and stuff like that.
Yeah, so, that's powerful as well. Mm-hmm. See, I enjoy the interaction. I enjoy the engagement. It's part of it. And I've really missed that sort of one-on-one communication that I used to get when I was out on the bike, traveling around the country, meeting up with people through social media. And I've missed that. And it's not the same just doing it via messages and DMs and stuff. It's not the same as face-to-face, is it?
No.
So I can't wait. I can't wait to have that back. But right, dude, that is almost 3 hours, believe it or not.
My God. Do you know, I when I see your videos, I'm thinking, damn, it's in a brew time, like 2.5 hours. I'm thinking, how? But I can see how it happens. It's because you got me. I waffle. Sorry.
No, mate, not any time. I've really enjoyed it, mate. And it's lovely to sort of, as best as we can, chat face to face.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's good.
All right, dude, before we go, is there anybody you want to give a shout out to? Any plugs you want to give? Feel free. Space is yours.
Had too much drink, Bruce. I can't think of anything.
Tit arse bollocks. Yeah,
tit arse bollocks. There we go. No, I've got no one I can think of giving a shout out to. No, sorry.
I'll do it for you then, folks. Check out Steve's YouTube channel. The links will be down below. You've got the Instagram. You're on Facebook as well. Any other socials that you want to?
No, just Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Cool. So check them out. If you enjoy what you see, what you hear, then make sure you give them a like, a follow, a subscribe. And dude, I can't wait to actually do this in person at some point. We'll have to do something together. I want to come see your drone.
Yeah, beers in the hot tub and a bit of play with the drone.
Right, you're on. Let's do it. Sounds like Stag Boy heaven, that.
It's pretty cool.
Cool, man. You look after yourself. Thank you very much for coming on for a chat, and we'll be in touch, all right?
Yep, excellent. Thanks a lot.
Awesome. Top man.
Cheers, mate.
Right, folks, I hope you've enjoyed this one. Keep on doing your thing. Look after those that you love, as always. But get on out there whenever you can and live your life. Woo-ha! Cheers, dude.